1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a podcast from Steam. Powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. Oh boy, we've got David and Bunny, the original twin duo on the Bennettarium. Oh Lord, it's the Bennettarium. And we're about to start right now.
I've never done the last time.
We didn't practice that, but good improvising. Just cutting out. The last one is Benitarium.
Oh, it goes up.
I didn't do yours. I don't know if yours is either. Like,
Whatever. Anyways,
maybe I did yours.
Anyways, welcome to the. I'll cut that part out too.
Welcome to the Benitarium. Ha! I get to say it. Ha ha. I'm Bunny Bennett, or Isabella Bunny Bennett, and I play. Wait, what's Rabbit's voice?
Only one that knows.
I play what? Rabbit in Steam Powered Giraffe. Oh, and Gigi and a bunch of other. And I play Batman on one of our YouTube videos, and I am a book now too, and I'm also phonograph. I might actually turn some of these roles over to you guys because I'm voicing a lot of characters. And this
on all these things that no one has seen.
if they watch my Instagram, they've seen previews.
My name's David Michael Bennett, and I play the Spine in Steam Powered Giraffe and Salgexicon in Steam Powered Giraffe. And no, that's a joke, but yeah. So let's see. Today is a Wednesday. We haven't done it on is today Wednesday?
Yeah,
or is today a Tuesday?
It feels like a Wednesday, but it's actually Tuesday.
Okay, well, yeah, we usually do these on weekends or Mondays, but we did it on a Tuesday.
Well, so we both had. We usually do it on Sundays, but I've been needing to spend time with the boyfriend because I don't get to see him that much. So we stopped doing most Sundays. We might still do some Sundays, but we want to do it on Monday. But we both had doctor's appointments on Monday, so
we did that instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're doing it on a Tuesday today. Not that it matters for the podcast listener, unless you were like, I don't have a podcast for this week, but.
Sorry, guys.
You do. It'll just be delayed, I guess.
It's weird. We didn't plan on going to the doctor's like on the same day, but
I just picked the first day that was available, and it was
me too.
The same day that you had yours.
Both to get like annual.
Well,
physicals.
we have the same doctor.
Yeah, or
healthcare provider.
Healthcare providers.
But then we go to different doctors.
But both of our facilities are like within 5 minutes of where we are, and it was really convenient. That technology is really like caught up with the times or something. Cause it's great. The modern.
Well, last time I like all the technology and the whatever office this was. But the last time I went to the doctor was for my back in like 2011. And that was probably the last time I went to see a doctor. And that was like a specialist.
I think I was around 2013, 14. I had to get some blood tests, and I had a general practitioner for all of a month before they stopped accepting my insurance. They changed ownership. But it was just enough to get into contact with an endocrinologist, and that's all I've been seeing. So I've been doing like blood work here and there, but nothing else really until I just felt like it was time just to make sure.
I've had this basically when I turned 30. I was like, I'm getting new health insurance next because I had Blue Shield before, and I never found the time to go find a doctor's office that I wanted.
Yeah, it was the same for me. So that was fun. I was nervous. I don't like doctor's offices.
No, yeah, I told them going in like my blood pressure's gonna be high. Here's readings from the week that I took at home where I'm not like. And they're like, okay. And then when I calmed down, they took it like at the end of the session. They're like, okay, yeah, yours isn't terrible. So, but yeah, we're pretty high-strung people.
Yeah, it was when you're going into a doctor's office, then they kind of make that apparent that okay, well, it's not normal quotation marks to have so much high anxiety. I mean, I guess everyone gets a little nervous at the doctors.
Well, and especially the first time. Well, maybe. For most people, maybe you can be comfortable anywhere, but anytime I'm going to a new place, whether or not it's a doctor's office, I always get a little anxious. I wouldn't say I'm like anxiety-ridden, but to the point where, most people aren't, super aware, your pupils dilated, your palms sweating, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that happened to me, and then they're like, "Are you on cocaine?" Like, and then I thought they were joking, but they were actually serious. And I'm like, "No," and like your pupils are completely dilated, and you're sweating, and like that's because I'm in a doctor's office. Because the nurse like was like, thought I was gonna keel over dead based on my blood pressure, basically, kind of, and then and then I'm like, no, I'm just nervous. This happens every time. And then I calmed down the second reading, and then when they put me in the room to wait, I could still hear them through the doors because I don't know, either I have excellent hearing or the walls are paper thin. And they're like, "He nervous in there?" And like, "Yeah, his blood pressure da 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 da." And then they come in and was like, "Okay, what's wrong?" And then like, "You seem like," and I was, I looked pretty relaxed or whatever, and like, this I don't understand. So that's why I guess she jumped to drugs because she thought I was.
I didn't get such an experience, but similar. They were concerned, but I told them like, "Look, I'm really nervous." I just admitted it. Like I'm really nervous. I haven't been in a doctor to a doctor like in 20 years, and
maybe it's a gender thing too, where they assume that a guy will be okay with most stuff.
Maybe, or maybe it was
because they were
just
like, "You seem like a
coincidence.
pretty." They were constantly trying to tell me that nah, there must be something else. Like no, because I had a cool demeanor, but like in the inside, like I was in a fight or flight situation. Like not that I feel like I'm at danger, but it's just this social anxiety.
I mean, I think there's. If you were having a major operation or something or anticipating bad news, I think then, that high anxiety would be normal. But this was just a routine visit.
I had this, I felt the same way when I went in. I had an epidural back in 2011, and that it was like, putting a needle in your spine, and that was a first for me too. And yeah, I felt the same way, even though I knew it was just a checkup.
Yeah, I hate getting my blood taken. Last time I had blood taken, I was so nervous that I don't even know, like when I saw my blood coming out, like there was this moment of like, am I gonna pass out?
Wait,
like,
why did you look at it? Just look at the picture of
no,
the
it
ducks.
was already out. It was already out, and they just kind of they were taking the syringe by me, and it was filled with blood, and I was like, okay, I'm not looking. I didn't know I was so squeamish, but apparently I am. Well, I have a funny story though. The time before that, I had blood taken, which was maybe a year and a half ago. I didn't have my name and gender marker updated, so when I came in there, this guy was like, he had to keep checking. Like, he kept showing me my form and like, he was like, "Are you sure that this is right?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's right." He asked me like 3 or 4 times before taking my blood, and then when I said, "Okay, this is why it's that way." So and he was like, "No, I don't need to know any more information." I'm like, "You asked." You're like, "I'm just trying to confirm that yes, the gender marker's correct." But because obviously I looked female, but my gender markers legally said male. But
wait, like not in the blood test, but like the actual like
yeah, and my ID and all that.
At the top, I get it.
Yeah, you have to put what your ID says. So, but yeah, I haven't had too many bad experiences at the doctors, I suppose. But hopefully none to come. But yeah, I think high anxiety, like they said it was fine. I still haven't gotten like my blood work. I have to wait a little bit longer.
You have to wait.
Yeah, they wanted to save me money because they're gonna check for like a bunch of things. So
They didn't make me pay this when I went in. I don't know why. Maybe it's my first time. Maybe, but
you might get a bill in the mail. I don't know.
they usually make you pay right there, though. Well, it doesn't matter because I saw other people paying right at the counter, and it was going to be $40, but they didn't.
Maybe it's because they counted it as your yearly physical, because that's what they did to me to save me
you're
some
right.
money.
Okay, that's what it is. The first one, yeah, and so I got my blood work done the night. I didn't know if I was going to get it. I just went in yesterday, and then I tried to make an appointment, and for whatever reason, this medical center, you can only make regular appointments. You can't make lab appointments, so I had to call and wait on the phone for 45 minutes, and then it took them all 5 seconds to give me an appointment.
Oh.
And they said the earliest one was like 7 in the morning, and I'm like, cool. So, and it was already like 6:30, so I'm like, I guess I'm going to eat a bunch of food now and then fast for 12 hours. And I was nervous.
Did you have to fast?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
My doctor said 12 hours. They say 9 to be safe, but I did 12, and you can drink as much water as you want, though, unless and then there's one kind of test where you have to wait an hour before. You can't drink water an hour before you. Well, whatever.
Before you go in the pool.
Yeah. But for the most, yeah. So I did that, and Chelsea went with me because I was like, I'm not sure if I'll be like faint or something because I've never had my blood drawn. I've had shots and stuff before. I've had a needle stuck in my spine. I've never had like plasma sucked from my veins. But you can see it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in and out in like 5 minutes, but I looked at the poster of the ducks, and and that was it. And then at the end, they didn't talk to me because I looked at all the other people and I was like, and like their person was like talking to them like, and then I realized, and this is just maybe my tired brain, is they started conversations with all the women and all the men they didn't say a word to.
It's sexism right there.
And I just felt like I could really use that comfort, but I'm not gonna get it. And you know, just because. But
the first time I had blood taken to start my transition, like I had my general practitioner, and their lab was like this woman who was like way into Disney, and she was like, just you know, because she works with children.
Yeah.
So she saw that I was nervous, and I was a dude back then, and like it was just amazing because she's one of those nurses that did it without me even knowing that I had.
Yeah.
She was cracking jokes and stuff. I'm like, damn, I wish like every.
I mean, they were pretty good here. I mean, I felt it, but only because I was hyper aware. But
oh my gosh.
I was a lot more calmer than at the blood test than I was at the office visit, just because I was tired probably, and I was a little faint because I hadn't eaten in 12
Yeah.
hours. But then also because I've already been to the place before, and there was no people around because it was super early in the morning. But yeah, and then at the end they were like, "Are you okay?" Because I probably lost some color after. You know, because my heart rate went up by the
Yeah.
time after they released the tourniquite and my blood flowed in the vials or whatever they're doing. And I don't know, I didn't look because I was like, I'm not gonna even try. These ducks is my main focus.
You're only gonna have to do this like once a year, so I don't know if you're gonna.
Yeah, she
get over
said.
it.
My doctor yesterday said, yeah, for someone like you, healthy as you, only come in once a year. And I'm like, I tried to spit as much information out as possible. Like I'm an identical twin. I have a degenerative disc disease. Like, because they don't have any previous medical records because I haven't had a. Shit. Now I have to cut that out.
Well,
I don't have a medical record anywhere because I haven't had a doctor. I'm going to look at what time it is so I don't spend too much time editing that out.
I'll start talking. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's scary to go into the doctor's office. For me, like I could easily be in surgery for the rest of my life, and I'm terrified of the prospects. You know, like there's a lot of questions, like gender reassignment. Do I want bigger boobs? Do I want facial feminization? All that's going to be painful surgery that you're kind of supposed to get, expected to get, maybe not, but it's kind of like some of those things I'd love, but I'm just scared. I'm so scared of and queasy of like healing and injury, and luckily I've never broken a bone or had anything super traumatic. I mean, I've had some pretty deep scars and stuff, but typically, yeah, I don't know. I'm squeamish, and so I don't know if I can go through with like.
I think a lot of it would be you'd probably be under anyways, so you wouldn't have to do much.
Yeah, but then all the soreness afterwards. But
so the only experience I have with that is after my epidural. Like that's a new thing to introduce a bunch of fluid into your spine where you already have like a bunch of pain. So it gave me more pain because it was trying to wash away. I don't know. I don't know what the epidural was for, but it's basically like some type of saline solution to kind of clear away any inflammation or something, but it didn't work. But I had a hole and I had like a big bandage on my back for a while, and it took like a day or two to recover from that, and I could still do stuff, but it was like,
we're novices in that department. Hopefully we don't get into any accidents or have to have too much surgery. Luckily we keep pretty healthy. I mean, I know like somewhere down the line I'm going to have oral surgery and stuff. That's just what's going to have to happen. And so for me, I'm just trying to like, the more I visit the doctors, the more comfortable I am going in, and the more shots I get, the better. Cause
there's also, it's probably better to be a little nervous of the doctors rather than be a hypochondriac. Because I see some of those people at doctors' offices, and I'm like, and they want something to be wrong with them.
Oh.
But I'm also not seeking doctor's approval to be healthy either. Like I'm like, you looked at my eyes, said I was on cocaine, and tested my reflexes, and somehow I'm healthy. But yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that from my without blood work yet, but I'm sure I'm fine. But we're gonna check anyways. They just said the depression and anxiety, which is
I mean,
which the anxiety was apparent at the appointment. So they're like, yeah, that's probably not something you probably want to work on just because it could be detrimental to your health. And
yeah, no, I mean, it's like your body's meant to be able to do that when you're being chased by a tiger, but Not when you're.
It gets really tiring, and I've had a tough 3 or 4 weeks. My anxiety has just been in overdrive, but it's not like this. It's different types of anxiety. Like going to a doctor's visit is different than going before a show, which can be like a positive anxiety.
Yeah.
Or even just going out in public, that there's social anxiety. I don't always have that. And the anxiety I've had for like 4 weeks is just worry and doubt. Like it's just, and that's a type of anxiety. It's worrying about all these things you can't change. And for the last 4 weeks, my mind's been racked with that, and it gets old real fast.
Yeah, I mean, Bunny and I obviously we're social people in the sense that we perform in front of hundreds of people when we do shows, and then we're on planes, we talk to fans. Like none of that affects us, but then you'd be surprised about some of the easy things in life that are actually really hard for us. That's what it feels like to me, anyways. Maybe that's simplifying it, but that's how I've been explaining it to people. Is like, well, simple things in life for some people are easier than others. Like for me, like I don't know, making food is like that's the worst thing in the world. Like I'm not gonna get it right, but of course I'll make an album. Like that's easy. Recording, but it's new things. It's things that you're not comfortable with, and when you're 30 years old and you've only done some art. I don't know, some people. Like, I don't know, I went to college. I had no problem, like, studying, taking tests, do all that stuff. But some of the more trivial things in life, I don't think I ever really nailed. Like, cooking, I guess, is the easiest one. But not to say that I couldn't, because I can make pasta. But I think that it's just an example. It's like, some stuff in social situations, it's like, I'm better than most people, but I still have anxiety, right?
I think everyone has their troubles and shortcomings. It's just, I don't know. And I always try to remind myself that usually, I mean, events can trigger like anxiety, like going to the doctors or, all my concerns on surgery. I think anxiety has a place there, but it can also get out of hand if you're worrying about it too much. But like everything else, like I just see anxiety as this thing that attaches itself to whatever it wants. How can I do the same situation multiple times, and every time I have a different feeling? Sometimes I'm anxious, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm super confident. It's just what it shows to me is that something's not right there. Something's imbalanced. That's beyond my control.
I mean, it's something in the brain. I mean, it could be worse with I see people that are just everything that involves something social is detrimental to them, which I don't have anything like that.
Most of my friends are really antisocial, but they're not. But they're really confident people, which I never understood. Like,
yeah,
and I don't.
That is weird to me too.
And then when I go out and express like, oh, I want to hang out and like go to these events, they're always like, well, I don't want to be around people, and I'm like, but I'm the antisocial one.
Yeah.
How can you be more antisocial than me? And like,
it doesn't really make sense to me, but I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of like I like being around people. It's just, I don't know, like.
It's that the pressure's on you. Is that the difference? I guess we'd have to have someone on that has the opposite thing, because we're in an echo chamber right now.
I guess even though I worry, I think I'm more of a people person than I let on. Like, and that's just by being around people, my friends and loved ones.
No, I mean,
who are much more
It's so much
social.
easier. Like when we're traveling and stuff, I have less stress because there's other people. At the same time, I can have more stress because there's more people to look after too. But at the same time, there's a little less stress knowing in like, oh, I'm not, even if I'm stranded here, at least I have the rest of the band with us, right?
Sure.
Whereas if we all traveled separately or something from different states, it'd be like,
No, I've now that I've done that too, so now I'm like, okay, I can.
Yeah, I did it, but
for I had to travel through Florida
for business stuff. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I would get stressed about.
Well, we've taken baby steps with travel, and we're pretty. There's not a lot of situations that can be put in there that wouldn't know what to do. So
yeah, I mean we've done the 10-hour flights. I mean, unless we go farther for the longer flights. But yep. But that's just most things in life.
Everything can be scary. Some people are go-getters.
There's not much left in life to be experienced as far as like what to be afraid of. Like when I was younger, it was like taxes and getting a job and stuff like that. Going to college. But then in hindsight, all that's like, oh, that's easy.
Well, it's always about firsts, right? Like firsts can be exciting, they can be scary, but as you get older, you have less firsts.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to feel that at age
So
30.
I mean that's probably why people go out and like let's go see the world because we haven't done that and maybe it's not what we wanted to do in our youth. Because I don't have any wanderlust. Like I just want to keep creating art and stuff. But at the same time, there's probably stuff an older me would probably want to do eventually.
Well, I think our wanderlusts. I mean, mine is definitely satiated by traveling in the band.
Yeah.
This year is going to be a little lighter than previous years, so it's hard. I can feel like I really enjoyed going out to Seattle the past weekend, which was I don't know. Hopefully there's more. I just can't wait till July just to go to Chicago. I don't know why, but it's just like I like traveling, but in moderation, I suppose, and pretty much only for my job.
Yeah, I know. I did it a few times for pleasure, quote unquote, but it was still
I always just
meh.
Every time I've come back from like a travel,
I was done after a day. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
time to go home.
I was just like, man, I could have just sat in my house and played video games and had much more fun
Yeah.
than going out and traveling for.
I mean, I did it.
pleasure.
I went to Yosemite. I don't know, a few years ago, 2 years ago, and it was fine. But it was 3 days, and by the second day, I was like, okay, it's beautiful. I get it.
I don't know. I guess if you have good company. That's
No,
what
yeah,
matters.
it's fine. It's just you kind of have to turn. You have to turn into. I can't go and work right now because I'm out in the middle of nowhere and their cell signal is bad. So
I think I don't know if it's true for you, but I think just the type of person I am. I'm kind of a homebody. I like the home. I like being in my my kind of cave.
yeah,
It doesn't mean that I don't like going out and exploring things. It's just I'm happier when I'm in my environment
yeah.
and I can like have my workshop.
I mean, I also like getting out. Like I can claustrophobic in your own environment too.
Sure.
But it's like it is my favorite place to come is where I call home because all my stuff's here, and
Sure.
and it's not someone else's place. Like, because when I'm at someone else's house hanging out or something, I always feel like, and it's a time to leave at a moment's notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to relax sometimes if you're.
But I've never been in that situation where I've been like comfortable enough with other people and friends where I felt like, oh, I'll just hang out forever here. Because most places I'm just like, I don't feel welcome here. Not like they're not welcoming, but like it's not a judgmental thing either. It's more just like this isn't my house.
I think everyone kind of, if you start building relationships
Yeah.
with people, you get more comfortable. Like
Yeah.
I've had a few people over the years, but yeah, I mean, generally I just like my home. But isn't that kind of what you're expected to do? Is just settle down with someone and then
Yeah.
make a home your home, and you kind of leave everyone else out unless you go visit them at a bar or
Well,
events. It's like
I mean, it's human nature to
you kind of make your own
Yeah,
world.
fine.
Everyone does it,
yeah.
and some people
Even when you go
their world
to a
is
hotel. You start putting your stuff out. Like,
Yeah.
this is my section of the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, some people are much more outgoing than us, and I don't know why I'm saying this. Like, isn't it common knowledge? Everyone's different, but like, I mean, some people's who are outgoing, like, they still surround themselves with the things they like.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
But yeah, most times when I hang out, like some people want to go and do stuff, and I'm like, how about not?
yeah,
Because
I don't know.
I like hiking, but like if it's not hiking, then it's either hang at my place, or go see a movie maybe, or let's not hang out. Those are the options.
there's a board game event this weekend, and Alex and I are gonna go to. I don't know. It's kind of like maybe we'll have fun, but
luckily, like the people that I hang out with the most are probably the Peniacs, and I guess I don't know if we joke about it, but we all don't like people. I mean, we obviously do, but you know what I mean? Like
a lot of my friends are the same way.
like
they're kind of.
you go out to enough events and stuff, right? That eventually you're like, I know that most people I'm just not going to fit in with, or not fit in with. They're gonna get on my nerves.
I think it also comes with age, and I remember being a little more outgoing in my youth and stuff. Like, it's kind of like you get to that point where you say you don't like people anymore, but I think it's more about you've kind of just figured out what's worked for you, and you're not seeking validation. You don't need to validate yourself with people anymore, so you don't need people. The people that will come into your life are going to be people that are strong enough to also not need validation.
You're right. That's I think that's
the biggest thing that puts me off about hanging out with people is when I sense that they need validation.
Yeah,
it's sad, and it's like I've
Well,
been there before, so.
But to be there for a person is way different than being the person for
Right,
that person.
sure.
If
I
does
mean,
that make sense? Like, yeah.
It's someone who's so eager to have friends or make contacts. Like, I can't do that. I've been that person before in different situations, but I'm starting to get to that point where it's like I don't need validation for myself, so
Yeah.
I don't really need to hang out with people. It's nice to meet individuals and stuff, but I can usually learn right away, like, okay, this is not going to mesh with me, and that's just...
But also, like, you know, if you're busy and stuff, like, that's where most of my life is spent. And then when
That's true.
And the people that I hang out with the most, like, they have their own stuff going on. So,
Yeah.
and there is the time when everyone's bored or something, but it's few and far between.
I think I recently lost a friend who said that I just don't have enough time for them, and I'm like, well,
I've gotten that in the past before.
sorry, like I wish I could do more.
I got one friend who said, this is not too recent, but they said, well, you're not really a good friend. Like you never hang out and stuff, and like like you can always shoot me an email. I reply back like immediately. Like
yeah, it was something I've gotten that a couple times over the years.
It's like
this one just happened recently, like the other day. It was kind of like.
But I don't feel bad because all I can think of is like, okay, well, that's great that you have your 9-to-5 job and I have my job that eats up 7 days a week, and yeah, I'm more flexible, but like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I think maybe some people live to hang out with people.
I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I'm living for myself and I'm living for my craft.
I also love being alone. Like
yeah, I do too.
When I have alone time, I'm like, oh boy, like.
It's hard to.
I've learned to start loving the voice in my brain and being like, that's like a comfortable spot for me now. It hasn't always been. I'm not saying that everyone that likes to hang out with people and just wants to hang out with all these.
No, yeah,
it's just different people work different ways.
Sure, yeah.
This the way that I think David and I work is that we're solitary people, and we do have our pools that we draw from, loved ones and friends and such.
But even then, I need like time away. Like I mean, I can spend a week with someone and get sick and tired of them on day 2. But then, you know, give me a day by myself and I can hang out with those people for another week.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And honestly, most of my friends are, I don't talk to them for like a month, and then you pick it up like it never.
That's the kind of friends
they
that
understand
I need,
because they're busy. Like,
but you know, I over the years, now that I'm 30 years old, same with you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're identical twins.
1 minute
and 30
older
years.
than you. So, when you get to my age in 1 minute, you will be just as wise. The more people you kind of start seeing the trend of like, oh, this person, like, you're never going to be able to give them what they want in a friendship.
Exactly, and also it's like, if people see like you have free time and that they feel that you should be using that you should be using your free time to hang out with them, it's like, that's not how I want to live my life. Like I shouldn't have to fill every inch of my schedule with hanging out with people and making time all the time. It's like, how is that a friendship if I have to like give up the sacred me time that I need, and I need a lot of it.
But yeah, you know, but you know why that it doesn't work is because there is a time when you're like, I want to hang out with someone, and then if you hang out with the person who always wants to hang out, from their point of view, it looks like not that everyone does this, but from their point of view, it's like you're using them,
right?
And then it's like, well, that's not true. It's just because if you said no, and then that all that would mean is eventually we would sync up. But because you're free, you always want to hang out. It just looks like I'm using. You know what I mean?
I think once again, it comes down to validation.
Yeah.
I've been there before, and maybe I'll be there again in some situations. There's people that I wish I could sync up with, like, and I have to watch myself, like, okay, like, eventually it'll happen, or maybe they just don't want to hang out with me.
But I don't get butthurt when someone can't hang out. But I feel like people do get butthurt when I say I can't hang out. And luckily I have enough. I don't ever. All my excuses are never because I don't want to. Most of the time it's like, well, I can't because.
Well, also not wanting to is a valid reason. Like I only have so much energy, and honestly, some people I can take in small dosage, and some days I'm just like, I couldn't do it today. Like.
Yeah. No, I mean everyone's different too, and. Yeah, I've definitely said I don't want to hang out. Like, nah, I'm not feeling it. But for the most part, it's like when you can't make time for it, it's like that's the excuse that's mostly happens. It's like, nope, not gonna happen.
I don't know. I mean, every once in a while I do something social, but it's less and less just because I also see it as an investment, you know, like that my time is so sacred to me. Like I've wasted a lot of time on people that I will never get that time back.
I mean, though, I feel it's like it's a bonus thing, but the thing is like the people that I hang out with the most, like I'll take like Gabby for instance. Like she has like her own stuff, like the makeup stuff. She has a job, like her own art stuff. So the time that we're not spending together, we both of us know that we are working,
Right.
and we're doing what we love. And then we come together for like every other week, or maybe we don't see each other for a month or something, and then we hang out and we just catch up and it's fine, and it's just like it's less eventful. Does that make sense? It's not a parade. It's not like we're hanging out. What are we gonna do? It's more like
Right.
you play video games and I'm gonna color correct my TV. Like that's literally what it is.
Well,
and
it's good to have friends like that.
no expectations. The presence should be enough. That's what I like about hanging out with people. Like the whole plans things. Like maybe if you're seeing a movie, I guess, or going to Disneyland or whatever. But like that's a plan. But for the most part, I like when it can just fit in with a normal schedule. Like
I think it's just something that comes with age, and also some people probably learn this earlier if they find that best friend that they can do everything with. It's like that. It's that feeling that of just it works. You fit each other's whatever. Like it's great to have friends like that. I don't think I've had that many like that in recent times though. I feel like, finding more older people, it's kind of like you just kind of learn it, so they're kind of on the same page with you.
yeah, eventually, I think it's. I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't want to say maturity level, but it's more like maybe with age or maybe with.
Well, yeah, it's just like experience, right?
Yeah, experience.
Like
yeah.
you kind of some of the friends that I turn away from just. I hate to use the word mature, but that's what it is. It's like they just haven't experienced, like, not needing validation, not needing.
It is. I mean, I think
someone around them 24/7. Like
Whoopi Goldberg said a good thing. Like, she doesn't want like a man or something to be hopelessly devoted to her. Like she respects independence, someone who can do their own thing, and then when they meet, that's where the love would happen or something.
Right.
So I feel, friendships or relationships, like that's how it feels like to me. It's like, because in the past when I've been in a relationship where I've been the sole focus, which is not because, and it makes you feel like, what am I doing to make me the sole focus?
Right.
I'm just being myself, but somehow, like I'm
it's
I'm
because and then the other person is giving they're doing all these things for you, or changing their lifestyles or times and dates to fit you.
Yeah.
All you've said is that you're not moving. You're not, like, you're just doing your own.
Yeah, I've been me for every relationship for the beginning
Like
of my
no one
life.
should have to bend. And I've had those relationships too, where it's just like they do so much for you and you're not asking for it, and then it always ends up in like them saying like you haven't been there for me. You don't ever want to do things I want to do. You don't.
I mean, but you know what? When you sync up with someone who is on the same page as you, then it's equal. And if it's not equal, because in that sense, it's easiest to say that the other person would be giving you more than you're giving them, which is kind of stupid, because I don't think that any of those relationships in the past that I've gave them less. It's that they're not getting what they want, where what they really want is they want you to like the activities they want to do, and they want you to actively go out and do them with.
And they want and I don't know if they want you to dote over them.
Yeah.
Because I've had people I've dated some people or been friends with people where if I do try to like put in like an obscene amount of effort because I felt bad because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Like then they just get so they don't like it, and that's their problem, because they like doting over people. They love it, but it's also their downfall. It's also why they can't get relationships to keep working, because I've had a number of those and it's not fun. I mean, the relationships I have right now, I like to think that they're the kinds of people that we're just on the same level. We're not doting over each other. We do special things for each other, friendships or intimately. Like but it never feels like we're like you should be counting things done. You know what I mean? Like some people like to count all these great things that they've done for you.
Yeah.
Like there's a tally against, like you have to even it out somehow. And it's like, well, if you're taking that much effort, then maybe you're not right for me, or I'm not right for you.
Yeah, I mean, it should equal out. I mean, that's just how a relationship is. I mean, and being in enough relationships, you know, romantic or just friends, like it feels the same of like when you think out with people that are like on the same page, you stop worrying about, oh, am I not doing enough for them, or do they think I'm selfish? Because that's what I feel as however I am, or you're probably similar. Like you start feeling like, am I being selfish? Because you know, when you say, like, when someone invites you to, like, hey, let's go out to karaoke, and I'm like, I sing for a living, I'm not going to do that. and they're like, oh, you can just come and watch. And I'm like, I don't want to go into a crowd of people. I'm not going to do that. We can come over here, you can play video games, or we can go board night, we can go to on a hike or something like that. but then eventually it turns into like, am I selfish because I only want to do the things I want to do? Because here's the thing is I don't ever remember saying you have to do the things I want to do.
Right. I don't know why it's so hard. Like, why can't you do? There shouldn't have to be sacrifice.
Yeah.
No
sacrifices.
There's sacrifices on.
There's sacrifices when
there's tiny little sacrifices that you make.
When
like,
someone breaks a leg and you have to carry him to the hospital, there's a sacrifice. Of course, everyone would do that, and I feel like that's what you would do.
You want to eat you want tacos, but I want Italian. Fine, we'll do tacos tonight. I mean, everyone should want.
Or just
tacos,
go to both places. But
like,
yeah. No,
I just don't understand. Like,
tacos over Italian. What? That's stupid.
I mean, obviously, I'd want tacos. I mean, everyone would want tacos over Italian.
I mean, it's everyone on the face of the earth.
But yeah, it's stupid. I've been made to feel bad about that stuff, and and obviously I feel guilt because it's like, oh, I should have been there.
You're selfish, quote unquote. But the relationships where it works, like it just makes sense. No one feels like, oh, you're being selfish or something. It's like my whatever love I'm giving or time I put in is well received, and I'm still the most caring person that they will go to. Like, if
the friend or lover they want more attention, then they should vocalize it.
Yeah.
They should say what they want, and then it's like, okay, well, here's what I can provide, or I can't provide that. Like,
that's not to say that also means that a person like you or I would stop receiving what people are feeling. Like, this is how it usually goes when in any relationship that I've ever been in ever is like, I can tell something's wrong. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Like, and then some people you kind of have to keep poking at them, and some people don't respond to that, but other people will open up, and the more you do that, then they just start spilling their beans when you say, hey, what's wrong? And because most people don't want to feel like it's too taboo to go from like everyone's happy to talking about stuff. But with me, like, I can go being happy to talk about the most depressing thing ever, and no one's going to.
You got to communicate. With any relationship, with any, we have to communicate as brother and sister, as employees working for the same company, as business partners. I have to communicate with my boyfriend and girlfriends and all the friends I have. You have to communicate. It doesn't matter the relationship. If you're having a bad day and stuff, just tell them about your bad day, and they'll probably, that'll probably fix a lot of things that are, I don't know, any frictions and stuff.
I think a lot of people, they don't like to talk about their own emotions. There's some people, there's so many people, like, in the people that just will never work out for me as friends or relationships. They've always had issues talking about their emotions. They don't know how to describe how they're feeling. They don't know why they're feeling that way. Or they're uncomfortable. I think that's a big one. A lot of people are uncomfortable. Which is fine, and
like, I'm all for like people opening up, and I've had people do that. Like you said, like, if you push them enough, or keep being there for them, eventually they'll open up to you, and you'll start talking. But I hate that feeling when you can't get there, and then they end the friendship or just storm off because, and you're left there thinking like, what the heck did I do? Was there something obvious that I was supposed to know, and no one has pointed it out? Like,
no, I mean,
no one else thinks I'm selfish. Like,
I believe people like that, they just want things to work out without having to explain it.
And also,
I mean, a little bit of talking goes a long way.
Also, selfishness is not a bad thing. We are all selfish.
Yeah.
We're all the heroes in our own movies.
Sure.
So it's BS. Like, just be selfish. That's the best thing you can be.
Yeah.
I was worried about people for so long until this transition. Like, honestly, it started to make me understand, like, that voice in my head is not a bad thing. Like, I love being alone. I love myself. And I understand what that means now. It's like, I'm independent. I don't need someone all the time. Every once in a while, I'll crave friendship. I'll crave, like, being around someone. But
that's being selfish too. But at the same time, it should be seen, that selfishness should also be seen as the same way that we dote on people. Like, oh, this person's sad. I'm going to cheer them up. I'm going to make them feel good because they do it to me. Like, that's selfish because you're doing it to them because you get a little personal gratification helping someone.
Right.
But then you also are saying, hey, I'm doing this for you. You can do this for me when I'm in your spot.
Exactly.
And that's selfish too. And somehow, but it's not selfish when those people are in sync because that's just how those, and that's the problem. I think some people, they need, the relationship needs to be like this, and you can't see on the video, but someone needs to be higher than the other one. And I don't agree with that. And
I think it needs to be even.
there's something with society and stereotypes. I'm sure that plays into it.
I mean, you can make anything work, I guess, but I mean, for the types of people we are, it's apparent that we value independence, and it's not to say that we've never been on the opposite end of the spectrum. We've just learned.
Right,
just learned the experience the hard way. I've doted over people, and
Yeah.
it's gotten me in so much pain and suffering.
It's hard to. It's not something that, because no one. If you're gonna teach the young person about being in love and relationships, what we're talking about it's not step one, right? So going through all that, it's just one of those things that you see.
You just have to experience it. You just have to live it.
The older people get, I think more people turn to our way of thinking. I'm not going to say it's the correct way.
No,
but
I think literally it just comes with time and experience. I think it's just one of those things that we're only seeing now in the last couple of years or so because we've done it enough times.
But also because the people that I've been with have been my age or a little younger, like, within their 20s.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
And to be fair, people of that age are that way, including me at one point, know? So it's just, and now I see the conflict when I'm like, oh, this person is my age, but they are still like, because they didn't go through these relationships, and self-discovery is a huge thing. And I see people who are like decades behind where I am, but that's just because I spent a long time focusing on myself.
On the reverse end, there's people that have come to our conclusions or whatever in self-love a long time before we ever did.
Sure, yeah.
Or it'll just take them longer, but it's not a bad thing. It's just you got to sync up with people, and that's why like sometimes you just can't hang out with someone because they're just on a whole nother level than you.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that they're a bad person or they're doing things wrong. It's just you're at a different point in your life, and I don't know. Not everyone's the same. No one can always sync up perfectly. But I guess on the topic of young people, we were talking about anxiety and experience, and I think it's fair to say like it does get better because once again, you stop having a lot of firsts. If you date enough people, you'll start figuring it out. Eventually, you'll start being like, okay, this is something I need to not do, or this is what works for me, or
yeah, I mean, there are some things that are pretty universal to just being a human,
right?
But then you also start seeing, when dating, you also start seeing, you learn about yourself, you learn what you like and what is like, this is what I need in a person, and I feel like every bad relationship that just kind of was like, didn't really go anywhere, like you kind of learn like, well, those kind of people don't really work with me but this kind of way, and people are complex, they're all snowflakes and whatever, so there's no one aspect that trumps the entire person, but like you start seeing different aspects of people that kind of like, okay, I don't really care for people that are like this, but it's I think people are way too complex to try and digest it completely, but you start getting hints at like, and then next time you see a person, you're like, immediately like, nope, this person is I'd never want to spend time with.
Right. I honestly don't think a lot of people dissect it to this point. They just a lot of people just accept that this is how the way things are. You just go with the things that you like, and then like how many people do we interact on a day-to-day basis? There's a lot of fans out there, there's a lot of people on the internet.
Sure.
It's like it's impossible for us to connect with each and every one on an intimate level that we do with our private loved ones and friends. Like, this is impossible. The best we can hope for is casual acquaintanceship, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
oh, we liked the same movie, that's great. Talk to you in a year the next time you come to our show. And I mean, that's the reality of like the internet.
Yeah, everyone has the people that are in your private life are going to be unique to what you need. It's not going to be the rest of the world.
Yeah, and none of my close friends are like Steam Power Draft fans either. Like, I mean, they like Steam Power Draft, they like but they probably wouldn't be fans if you know what I mean. So which helps because I'm not on a pedestal. I'm just a normal person to them.
Right.
Which, I mean, I know that seems stupid, but I'm not going to say that we get like doted on by people who are fans all the time. I mean, obviously, fans like fans and stuff, and I'm sure there's fans who don't like us, but like the thing was great. That's okay too. But for people in our personal lives, it's not like we're writing like we have this great thing and that's why we have so many friends. Like
our friends do not consider being with us a privilege because of our bands. Like it's an aspect of us, and I'm sure that plays a lot into it. But none of them. I don't keep any friends that look at my band and have anything to say about it except, wow, you created a cool thing.
Yeah, that's the thing is the appreciation is the dedication, the work, effort, the stuff like that. And, you know, we interact with more than just people who are friends, like other bands, other stuff. And, you know, that's what we appreciate from those people is like you put in a lot. Because saying you're a fan of their work is like, well, we can appreciate anything. But what we really appreciate is how you're doing it on your own. You're putting all this effort in.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the universal language, and that's easier. It's a little less pressure on both people, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried being friends with like some different creators. It's really hard. It's hard because they're going through the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
And they don't have time for you.
Yeah.
So it's like I've always like some of the artists and stuff. I want to be like, hey, I like your stuff, and I get about the same treatment as any of you probably get with us. Is like there's only so much they can offer with the amount of people in their day-to-day.
It's a little more reassuring though when you're like, okay, they're ignoring me and I am ignoring them.
Right. I've been ignoring.
There's not much else we can do.
Almost every celebrity or artist or person that I admire just even has completely ignored me. Like completely.
Sure.
Like I've never gotten messages. The best that we've ever gotten was like Doug Jones from Hellboy. You know?
He goes out of his way for
he's
message,
he's just a really great guy, and he responds to almost every message. I don't know how he does it, but
I want to say our stint with Gearbox was definitely due to social media, so that I think that helped, and also it helped that we went to conventions with David Eddings and stuff, and so there was a little bit of connections there.
Sure.
But I don't think for most
it was
part,
mostly a business.
Yeah, there's not been a celebrity that's been like, I like your stuff, and then they turn back and say something to you every once in a while, like. But and that feels good, like but then you realize like, well, I was one in a few thousand for that day, probably.
I mean, I guess it's great that if people like our stuff for whatever reason, you know, like it's great that they can enjoy it. But I think that's the thing to hold on to, rather than wanting to be friends with all these people you like. As much as I wish that I could, you know, have a conversation with so and so and stuff, it's like I'm just going to end up being disappointed. And why is that? It's because when I'm doing that, I'm seeking validation. I'm trying to seek like a friendship or something, someone I think is cool.
Yeah, and it just never works out anyways.
It never works out.
Never. It only works out when the happenstance of how you met was not because you were a fan. Maybe you are a fan and secretly you were, but the idea being that there's no way, because you know we see people like who we meet at conventions who help us out, you know, as handlers and stuff, and they want to be friends after the fact, you know, and it's like, well, we can be friendly, but it's not like we'll ever befriend people that way, because it's too close to home a little bit. Like this is our job. Like
to that, there's also most handlers that we've had, especially the ones that are routine. They're there for the job, and they think it's cool that they get to hang out with the band, but
they're not pursuing us. There's only been a handful that have been like, you know, actively wanted to be friends with us, and it's like, well, it's tough, because it's like, well, of course we'll be friendly, but like, I don't know how to. It's hard to explain if you're not in a band.
The thing is, it's kind of like what the social media is right now. It's like all those likes and hearts and stuff. They are meaningless. You're giving them out to these celebrities and stuff, and I don't know. When you can't measure love, you can't measure. I don't know. You can't put anyone on a pedestal. It's just a weird situation we're in where we're so connected to our celebrities and stuff because we follow them on Instagram. And
you know what I hear all the time is the counter argument to that is like no, but I like you as a person. I like you as people. I'm like, well, okay, but it's still the same thing. It's one-sided. I think
it's a hard truth that no one wants to hear. And I don't routinely go around saying, because it's not something that you can.
No, I mean
easily like.
I feel
describe.
Most people get. I understand younger folks. You know, that's not their cup. They haven't experienced kind of that before. But you know, it's a one-sided relationship, and that's why that will never work out.
It's even if you know, take us out of the picture. Say that we did something Maybe we worked in corporate America. Maybe we're at the top of our game there. Like, maybe we'll talk to some people who are like, oh, I liked what you did on that real estate jobber. You really did great when you brought it to the Catalina wine mixer or whatever. Like, are we getting friends from because of our business? Like, maybe, but it's mostly just business partners and professional relationships.
It's two different things, and it's hard to say because when you're doing something artsy, it's like, oh, well, these are just normal people. I'm like, but it is a business to us, and it is a job,
Right.
and our personal lives are separated from it.
The point I wanted to make, with all these like hard truths of like friendship and relationships and learning and stuff, the one thing I've learned is to you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself first, and you can't seek it out from other people. And it's something that I'm still learning. I will admit it's you have to love being alone with yourself. You have to find comfort in yourself. And it's not to say that other people can't help you. It's not to say that you have to do everything alone. It's just that when you feel lonely and you're alone, you should be okay with that feeling. You should not seek out validation because of it. You should just be like, okay, I'm a little lonely, whatever. But you know what? I'm gonna eat some mac and cheese and watch Netflix.
I mean,
I'm gonna be happy with myself.
I mean, especially when you're in a relationship, it's easy to be lonely because there's times when you're with another person, you're like, oh, those are happy times. I like that. But I run the gamut, and that's just being a human. Like, one day you'll be like, I need time to myself. I need to just work and be creative. And then the next day you'll be like, now that I did that, I feel like I need reward. So now I just want to spend time with someone and have them and share love with them. And that's just being a human, I think.
I think eventually you start feeling you stop feeling clingy, you stop feeling needy, and you just feel, okay, I'm good with me. And that's like the best feeling, because no one can hurt you when you love yourself.
Yeah.
As many times as I get rejected, like, I already like myself. I already like being around myself. So what's the point? Oh no, I'll have to go back to that.
Yeah, and
Of course, I mean, not to say that these long relationships that I've been developing over the past couple years, I mean, obviously, if something happened there, I would be,
of course,
I'd be devastated. But I'm just saying, like, rejection from like people you can't
from people you might have put expectations on.
like celebrities. It all ties together. Like celebrities that nothing's gonna form from there. It's like, well, it's okay. It's like, not everyone can be in your personal life, and that's just the way it works. You should love yourself. And I know it's hard when you're young, because I was seeking validation left and right when I was a kid.
That's just how it is and today it's harder not to want that when you're on Twitter, when your favorite creator of whatever you like is just a tweet away.
And I think we were talking about this earlier. This is you were talking about the Iron Fist that's coming up. There's also the
Netflix one, yeah.
I think it kind of plays into it. And also our experience on, say, like Tumblr and stuff. The sort of expectations, the same thing that can happen with like friendships that feel a little clingy or needy, and they don't say anything. It's also kind of the same when you get like a celebrity with fans who just eat them alive over the silliest stuff.
Yeah.
It's not to say that celebrities shouldn't be responsible for what they say. Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly, there's flub ups and stuff, but sometimes I think, and you said you were talking about Iron Fist.
Well, to sum it up, I guess it may be because you didn't read it.
I didn't read it.
I was in passing for me, but basically the lead actor for the Iron Fist, who plays Iron Fist in the new Netflix series, was bullied off of Twitter, and that's like, say, oh, what was there, a group of people who were like, you got to get off Twitter? Like, no, like, he got enough comments about something that he was like, he deleted his Twitter account. And like, you see that routinely, because most people are like, I didn't sign up for this, like, I'm an actor, I did this or I did that, and
he didn't do anything wrong,
and no one's
wrong.
But
anyone can perceive that wrong, because especially when you have an audience, there's a million desires that you cannot perceive. Any failures we've had on social media is because we didn't know that this person needed this, and it's impossible for us to give everyone. I think we just got an email the other day about a fan who just hadn't heard back from us, so didn't want to listen to music anymore.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate, because you know, we take time to respond to every email and stuff.
Yeah.
But because we didn't keep in contact, I guess that was enough, which is sad. But I don't know, like there has to be like a give and take in knowing that we're here and we're just kind of broadcasting to an audience, and we can't focus on everyone.
I mean, unfortunately, you know, I think the majority of people understand pretty much like what's, I don't know, right or wrong, I guess morally, but there's there's growing groups of people on the internet who they don't have. Sorry, I have hiccups. They might have their own day jobs and stuff, but there's a big part of their life that's dedicated to the internet, and whatever I touch is my space. And the idea being, you know, they love the thing they love, and they don't want someone to screw it up. And it makes sense in fandoms. You get to see that all the time. But I think that's seeping out into everything, and you can say it's fandoms, but it turns into everything. And I think the internet kind of shows, like, okay, before there was the internet and stuff, you know, you had conventions, and there's that stereotype of nerds who get angry when, like, with Star Trek or something, like at the convention, like, and that's not how it is, like, or actually, and you know, pushing glasses up or something. But then you get into the point of politics, and you're like, actually, that's the same exact kind of thing where people react the same way. Or like a form about tractors, like this tractor sucks, this brand is a terrible thing. Like it just keeps growing. And then now that they have the internet, it's a forum for everyone where you can see, here's all the nerds that like all the nerddom and the fandoms and stuff. And then, but there's also people that are nothing but politics on their Facebook page, old folks and
it's all
young,
pretty much the same.
And it's all, and it's a big, or like people who just go on and spout reviews about all the places they've been on Yelp and stuff. It's like, it's so. Everyone, it's making everyone so important, and everyone needs to know their own stuff.
And it's also just because everything's just a click away on your phone. Like, no one's really thinking about what they're doing, and that's why you get celebrities that are getting into trouble. That's why you have these people that run our country right now tweeting stupid things that I don't understand. Yeah. Like how are these people in office? Like what? I don't. How can they be allowed to do this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Like.
So I mean,
it's ridiculous. It's
the tough part is who's the judge of this kind of stuff. And if we're talking about the Iron Fist stuff, which is like, you know, the comment of like diversity, but then he's a white actor, and I'm just kind of summing it up and based on, you know, my glancing at it and stuff. But I'm sure there's people out there who are thinking, you did not read the whole article, you didn't do all your research. But at the same time, I know the general gist of it, and you know, if you have to explain it so detailed, like then there's a problem there, because the intent is everything. That's the easiest solution.
Yeah, I mean,
the intent is everything.
If there's something else behind there, like maybe he drowned a bunch of puppies or something we're not hearing about, then we can't defend him on that. But
the idea being like okay, anyone who does martial arts can't be white, something like that. Like okay, I guess, but you're getting into it. It's a different subject, and I don't know if anyone needs to be bullied off of Twitter for that.
Yeah, I mean,
because I get it, you know, racial sensitivity, all that kind of stuff. You want to be culturally sensitive and stuff. I mean, we need more diversity in Hollywood. All that's great. It's all coming from a positive place, but it's being projected onto the wrong mediums.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Fists. I mean, the character's white. That's just what it is. I mean.
Then it turns into an argument of a fan thing. I'm like, to be fair, as a not a, I don't know anything about Iron Fist, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, oh yeah, it would be cool if it was a different. But once again, like everyone has their own agenda, and you don't know you don't know who's taking
just,
what.
I don't know.
Way.
Diversity's for diversity's sake is not a good thing, but I'm all for more diversity. It would be nice to have more, a better. Multicultural cast of superheroes in the Avenger films or whatever. Like,
yeah, I mean, I feel
there's
the same
a
way.
lot of white people.
Because when I play a video game, I'm like, oh boy, another white dude, and like, yeah, it's easy for me because I'm white. But when I see that in myself, I mean, I feel I'm progressive, but I'm not like no more white people in video games. But at the same time, like if there were no more white people in video games, I'd be pretty happy, because like there's a ton of them out there already. And if you want to be a white guy, a generic white guy with no personality.
Some people take the opposite stance where they're saying it's too culturally diverse and stuff. Like the new Star Wars, it's like, why? There's all these different races and stuff, and it's like
that's real
like
life,
this is
though.
just being shoehorned in by the feminists, and so it's, I don't know why.
But you know who's saying that is white people. Just white
yeah,
men.
I mean, basically racist white people.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
but on the opposite end, then there's the social justice warriors who want to force it down, who actually do. So it's like they're always going to fight at each other. While then there's the middle ground where we're
middle
just like,
ground, where the people are
okay, I guess.
yeah, I mean, we want to make progress. We're going the right way, but unfortunately, it's the extremes, and
I don't even think
I've-
it matters your political stance or
you're
your
right, yeah.
your religion, your anything. It's just that there's the hard sides, and then there's the kind of like decent.
I'll say just
middle-
we'll say level-headed.
Right, like of course we're passionate
Yeah, we
about
get
certain
passionate,
things.
sure.
yeah, but
I'll talk about how great The Witcher 3 is over any other video game any day of the week. But at the end of the day, I'm willing to hear other people out and stuff. You know?
yeah, I don't. The only quality that I can really like say about myself that I know is absolutely true is that I like to be neutral or gray or in between. There's just too much that as soon as I think I know something, something else mixes it up.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's nice to have things that you do because of a certain thing. Like, I don't recycle because nothing I've read has or
Right.
looked
I
has seen anything.
also don't recycle because I've read that. And
But there was a time when I was like, recycling for the win. But
the only things I recycle are the things that you're supposed to recycle.
metal,
Yeah, metal.
pretty much.
It's just I don't know. I think there's with the internet, it's anyone can just blast their opinions out as soon as they want, and a lot of that is young people too, because who has more time than I don't know how kids have that. School is brutal, but I don't know how they have time to.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, when
to
we
be
were
on the internet,
kids,
but
we didn't have that. Like we had I think we had Facebook when I was in college. MySpace came around sometime in my college days too. So
I just think I know for fact some of you are gonna look back on the stupid things that you've written on the internet, and you're gonna be real embarrassed because we got a little bit of taste of that. There's a few things that are kind of cringy that we can go back on.
Yeah, because I had a dead journal back when I was in.
Yeah, I had a dead journal too.
I think it was in high school. So that was before like a real. It was just basically a blogging space where you didn't have an audience and you were just writing for yourself.
It was a different world back then. We didn't have like Twitter and stuff. Like,
but yeah, I mean, it's not only that but I've seen just in the Steam Powered Draft cycle, I've seen fans grow up.
Let's see, that's good.
But I'm not going to say that they were bad people before. You see the growth cycles of like,
it's hard.
I remember being a kid and going through issues, and that's not to say with people who were mean to us or something, but just kids in general.
Think about this. We've almost been doing this for 10 years. And there's comments that I've gotten that, man, when I was a kid, my parents showed me Honeybee, and I was like, what? It hasn't been that long, has it?
Yeah.
So now you're an adult. You consider yourself an adult. Oh wait, it's been a decade. I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess you are smarter than you were back 10 years ago. I guess.
No. Yeah. I mean,
if you were young back
it's strange
then.
to think about. I mean, but now when you're 30, like half of that is 15. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't remember being 15 really, but I remember being 16, 17,
15
18.
was awful. Oh my gosh, I remember it. It was just horrible.
Was that like middle school probably?
It was like hormones. Like it was like right in the middle of all that. It was just awful.
But the idea being that at the older you get, time doesn't have as much value.
Well, and this goes back to what we were talking about before. With experience and stuff. Some adults don't learn, and they keep these bad habits. And some kids are super mature for some reason. But I think it's just with age comes experience, and there's no reason to be embarrassed by some of these things, except when you're doing stupid things on the internet, like bad mouthing Iron Fist actor and getting him off the internet, or some people have done similar things to us, trying to.
What was that? What was the Daisy? The lady from Force Awakens?
Yes, I cannot remember.
She deleted her Instagram because she posted something about she had to deal with like acne or something, and she posted a picture without makeup on, and people just slammed her because that's not acne, that's nothing, and like how dare you're beautiful, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
thinking this is like where people who have like rashes on their face or something, like what? How is that comparable? Acne's acne. Who cares if she has a little bit and you have a lot? Like, and that's the same kind of thing. It's you're not better than me. I'm better than you. I think that's where that comes from. That's what it sounds like to me when I.
Well, as entertainers, I mean, the relationship is like no matter what you think. Like on this episode we've talked about like people doting over us or like giving celebrities too much attention and putting them on a pedestal. But actually, the real relationship is it's all about you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we get a kick out of this, but everything we do is for you.
Sure.
When we go to shows, when we sign and stuff, like, yeah, we're grateful we can actually meet, but we're doing it for you. We're making this your experience, that you can get an autograph and you can meet your the creators behind the band that you like. You know, that's for you guys.
Because I mean, if we wanted to be selfish, we wouldn't do any of it.
Right, like the social media, all that stuff that we do, we're creating content for you guys. The music that you buy, it's for you to purchase and enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, we serve you because we're the entertainers, you're the audience. Like,
yeah, and if we didn't,
we're the ones doting over you, and I think that's where it kind of falls apart with some people, is that they're used to that because we're providing them content, we're serving them, we want them to buy our stuff, we're trying to win them over with, you know, whatever, catchy melodies or cool visuals or what.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, sending us creative constructive criticism is good and all, but because I mean, most of the times the ones that I like is like, oh, I didn't really like that last album you had, but I kind of like this song. But there's the difference of other people where they attack you because you did not deliver on what they wanted.
Well, I think I don't know if someone didn't like an album or something, that's one thing, but the stuff that we get attacked for, like saying is like you guys are white supremacists, you need more color in your band, or you guys say these racist things, or you know, whatever.
Yeah, which stuff that's like, what? I don't remember ever doing any of this stuff. Or stuff like, I mean, it's you just look at, if any of you have ever been to a hate blog before, not just a steam-powered draft one. I mean, there's like one or two out there, but it's the same kind of stuff. It's focused in on a very particular reason of why you should someone's a bad person or something, and and you see the same thing with celebrities. Like, for one thing, a lot of it is younger folks or people who just don't have anything else going for them, because who in their right minds would take time to hate something? Like, if you don't like it, speak with your money, speak with your not like being a fan of it. Like, that's what you would do.
There's a couple like artists online personas that I've kind of followed over the years, and there's one story that I always feel really bad about. I used to follow this guy because he had like amusing comics. I think his name was Andrew Dobson. It was like, his comic was So You Want to Be a Cartoonist, and I thought, okay, this is pretty decent. Like, you know, like, it's just like an artist talking about what it's like being an artist. Some people didn't like that he was so preachy, and like he kind of had like he was a little egocentric, and I didn't really care like at the beginning, but because you could tell that over the years, because I followed him, like he kept getting more and more hate, and he put that into his work. Like, it started coming out, and he got more pretentious, and he got whole hate blogs. Tumblr is filled with people hating on this guy, and like saying his art is bad, he's unpleasant, and et cetera, which, you know, even if it's true, even if he's kind of like this kind of a douchey guy, like everything, he did not deserve. Like, he basically does nothing now. He might draw a little bit, but he basically got bullied off the internet. Yeah. And I just because you don't like his art and he's not a good artist or whatever you think, or just because he's kind of a pretentious guy, like, it's not enough to. It's just not enough. But, I mean, it just feels bad for him.
You see that all over the time, and unfortunately, like when the internet is your only medium, like, I mean, we owe a lot to the internet ourselves, but when that's your only medium, it's like, what are you supposed to do other than? There's nothing. There's nothing to conform to, anyways. It's just,
I mean, I guess it's unfortunate. I mean, maybe he did more. If you're actually a jerk and you're asking for it, it still just seems a little like, isn't the best thing to do is just like stop following the guy and just be like, done with it? Like,
I mean, it's kind of a two-way street. You know, if someone gives me hate online, sending messages, I just ignore them, and it works the same way for
this guy. Actually got, there's a video where he stopped doing conventions, I think, after it. Maybe this is exaggerating. I don't know. I'm just saying what happened. He got a cup of water. A guy in a mask came over and threw a cup of water in his face, or spritzed him with a bottle, something like that. And there's video of it, and it's just like, it's unbelievable. It's just like, what the heck? What did this guy draws for a living, and all he's doing is voicing his own opinion, which I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying that he's a saint. I'm just saying, like, what is his darn crime? Like, he's just a guy.
I mean, I think even some people who run hate blogs would agree on the sentiment. Like, no one deserves that. It's just that there's people who take that and it's probably the people who, because if you're mature enough, you can still have a hate blog. You can still just be misguided. Like, if you think that's the best thing to do in life. But you know, most people are probably against, like, actually making someone's life bad, because that's not a correct response for them doing something wrong. Granted, I know, just knowing, I just know there's nothing that they could have done, even if they drowned a whole boat full of puppies. They just turn the boat over. Like, I would still be like, there must have been a reason. Those puppies must have been Nazis or something. You know what I mean? Like that. I feel like that's not. I'm not even a fan. I don't even know what you're talking about. But I'm still like feel like.
Well, I always come back.
Why
to,
would you? Why would you jump to a conclusion?
Don't we like think? I don't know if like because people think like it's either like you're good or you're bad, and you can only be like a saint or the devil. Like I think back when this was many years ago, but Mel Gibson's whole thing, which is he did some horrible stuff, regardless of what you think about his personality. You know, when he broke the law or whatever, all that stuff that came out, like he did something horrible, and we all kind of went like, well, screw Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
like screw that guy. And now it's kind of like, well, you know, he did all these horrible things, and I'm still like. I don't really like Mel Gibson, but I don't like avoid his movies or anything just because I'm like, well, he's a guy. He's a guy that has problems. He's kind of a terrible guy, but whatever. Like, I mean, he's a human. He's a human being.
It's kind of a new thing where, you know, he comes back and, you know, he kind of just admits it, and then people are like, well, okay. Because what after that, it's like, I mean, what the thing is what people want is an apology. And when they get that, they're like, you weren't sincere. And at the same time, you're right, he probably wasn't.
His whole thing was like domestic abuse or something like that.
Yeah,
there was like, which is pretty, it's awful.
I don't know. I mean, have you seen the interviews with him when he was, the movie he directed or whatever?
No.
I mean, he was on like, he went on Colbert, I think, and all that. And yeah, I mean, he's talking about it, and it's like, you know, like, because he talks about his apology and stuff with all that kind of stuff. I mean, multiple things, obviously, but to sum it up, it's like, it's exactly like what I said. Like, okay, he apologized in a way. Maybe it wasn't the way he wanted to apologize. And then years later, he's like, and maybe I didn't apologize correctly, but now what? That's kind of what it felt like. And I'm like,
it's hard to look at. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, you can't really pull the same thing on Osama bin Laden, someone who's folks like that who have done horrible things beyond redemption. Like, okay, maybe there's a point that you cross, but I hate to say it, but that's just the reality of the world. Like, that stuff happens, and Mel Gibson at the time, you know, he probably didn't. He skated by without revealing his true self to the world because there wasn't a whole bunch of as much technology to kind of to instigate all that. But over time, you kind of learn these celebrities outside of their job are terrible people or whatever. It's like, but people are horrible. People are so horrible. There's so many horrible people out there. Like, he's just caught in the limelight.
Here's the way I see it is like, okay, so your favorite actor, we'll make up someone, Jim Bob didn't go exercising. He goes exercising every day, but he didn't today. Jim Bob should feel bad about that. He's a terrible person for not exercising. Like, that's going to be the future.
What if Jim Bob beat his wife? Like,
well, I'm just.
I don't know about missing exercise on the same plane.
But you get
as
closer.
Mel Gibson.
If you're getting closer, like you start at something like ridiculous,
okay.
and you start getting closer to the thing that people would say this is terrible. Like, then you start seeing like, yeah, that one thing that they did that one time was terrible, it's not defending them.
There's also a thing. I think I read an article about this that there's kind of this unspoken thing about being a celebrity, or as soon as you get in the limelight, you have to be a beacon of good, basically.
Yeah.
And that I understand that why. So if you have any attention on you and people start reading your stuff, you have to constantly be on your A game, which is, you know, like we don't routinely go around like you know, saying, man, we really hate dogs and we're going to kill all the dogs.
Sure.
We really hate this and that and, you know, screw everyone. But there's going to be times when, like, we can't be saints. We can't be these lovely people that people want us to be.
The easiest way to kind of say it is like years ago when I used to write like actual like blogs on Tumblr, like, you know, I would talk about my childhood and stuff like that, where I come from a place of like, hey, just in case any of you want to share any of this, I'm sharing this with all of you fans, and like it comes from a place of good, like, but even in that good, people find bad when you were opening up about stuff, and you're like, and it wasn't like, when I was a kid, I overturned a boat and a bunch of puppies drowned. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing like that. They pick it apart like you just gave me ammunition to figure you out as a person and judge you to be terrible.
Right.
And I think that's how it starts. Like, the people who I guess are safe from that, or who are, they don't kind of open up. They don't really. But
Exactly.
if someone finds something out about you and you don't have anything to kind of it's kind of a new territory, I think, for most people on the internet, because there's no right way to do it. I think George Takei,
It's okay. I'm pretty sure it's Decay.
like I think he does it pretty well. Ever since Trump got elected, that's all his Twitter is about now. So it's a little different, but for the most part, like, I feel like he does it correctly, as in it's very, there's not much you can judge him on because it's just a blurb of something. It's not like here's a long essay.
Right. Or if you're like Sam Luke, you're just never on the internet. So
Yeah, so
so
you
no
don't
one
exist.
knows who you are.
Yeah, so-
outside of shows.
But I mean, it's the same thing as Daisy Ridley Scott Daisy, the Force Awakens
Yes.
lady. Like, all she has is an Instagram, and she posts something like that was positive, like, here's me without makeup with, and now I'm paraphrasing because obviously I didn't do my research, but here's me without makeup. Like, I dealt with acne, and I want everyone else to be comfortable in their own skin. And look, I'm an actress who's now being seen around the world, and I'm just like you. That's the idea with that picture, from all my knowledge of it. And then people turn that around on her to be like, you're a celebrity. How dare you?
Yeah.
Like, you think you're better than the rest of us? Like, that's kind of what it turns into.
remember Salagate? I was making a joke, but I offended all the skinny people on the planet. I was like, you know what? It's much harder to be overweight than it is to be skinny. I'm sorry. I'm just throwing it out there. It's harder to be. It's hard. I have more sympathy for overweight people than I do skinny people.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's genetics or you just found the magic. It's hard.
Well,
It's hard to be overweight, and I should be able to make jokes about being overweight and sympathizing with women where the standard is way too high. Salagate is something I did back in 2013. It was it was an Instagram of me eating salad saying, "This is what I have to live off now that I'm a woman," like, with a bunch of hashtags of pretending that I was throwing up in a toilet and stuff, and all this, stuff that is pretty tame humor, but people took all that.
Well,
and
no. The difference is no one was hurt by it. They were offended by it.
They were offended by it.
And I think there's a line, there's a thin line with stuff like that, because it's like, I get offended at when I hear jokes at a comedian because if something is personal to me. But it's the same way as, like, if one of my people that I looked up to said they recycle and they hate everyone who doesn't recycle, and I'm like, now hold on a minute, I need to explain to you why recycling is stupid.
Let's talk about being offended. So, since I'm still new to coming out, almost 3 years in July, this next July it'll be 3 years. I think I was very sensitive, just coming out with people using the proper pronouns, with people not accepting me for who I was, all that kind of stuff. I was kind of on that, and if anything was like I perceived as transphobic, I would just be like, no, I can't do it anymore. But now I'm like, I think back on it, I'm like, I think it's like I was watching like some Futurama episodes, and I'm like, wow, these are horrible. Like, it's great writing and the animation. I love Futurama, but boy, there's the sexism and there's some transphobia in here in episodes. And I know there's like articles on the internet about this that go way into depth about how bad these cartoons are, but I just kind of realized that.
No. A trans person just now said that Futurama was great, even with these things. So you solidified it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't.
We cleared that up.
I'm just saying, like, Futurama is amazing, and just because they have these moments, it's a product of the time. It's like, I really like Ace Ventura, but that whole trans storyline is very offensive.
Yeah.
But it's a product of the times. And yeah, you know what? The people that wrote that joke may be super transphobic. They might not believe in. You don't know. Maybe Seth MacFarlane really is kind of a jerk and doesn't believe in, with his Ted 2 movie ragging on trans people. Like, but I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. Like, me being offended, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to watch that stuff. But even now, I'm like, meh. Like, unless someone's making an agenda, I just don't care. Like, there is things we should fight for, and like, yeah, of course, just like you want more female protagonists in your video games or movies, or people of color, I will still hope that as a trans person, people will stop making fun of us so much.
Yeah.
But I just don't care. Like if someone misgenders me, if someone says refers to me as a he or something, or like it wants to be mean about it, who cares? Like if they want to do that on the internet, let them go wild. It's like I already know who I am, and no movie or it's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect my perception of who I am. So yeah, like Ted 2, that trans joke that's in there. It's like, I mean, I hear it's a pretty bad movie. Aside from that,
yeah, it's not a very good movie.
It's not a good movie in general, but
it makes the first one look like Shakespeare.
I'm not going to go out and watch it because I that joke is.
Well, it's not worth watching anyway.
I was offended, yes, but who cares if I'm offended? It doesn't give me any rights. Like, oh, I guess that struck a nerve with me. You know what? It won't strike a nerve with me if I don't care. If I have the confidence in myself, nothing's going to strike a nerve with me. So, like, I think, like, I don't know, people when they say they're offended, it's more about they want their whatever it is to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
They want being transgender to be taken seriously, or they want their anorexia disorder taken seriously, and people that. But I don't know, like it just seems like because you want to associate it with a movement, with something that suddenly it becomes into something that cannot be made fun of. Well, here's the thing: you can make fun of anything. Like not that anyone's going to make fun of everything, but you can make fun of anything, because words are just constructs made by the human, the human race. It's all meaningless. It doesn't mean anything to animals.
Yeah.
So you're being offended is meaningless. You can't police words, and as soon as you start policing words, that's how you get bad governments and stuff. You can't police words, and that's why, as much as I want to bitch and moan about all the trans jokes and stuff, I just see that there's nothing for it. There's nothing for it. You can't do anything about it.
Well, also it's the end goal the end goal is to have everyone understand what everyone in society. And,
right.
And to be respectful of everyone. And of course that's not going to happen because we still have racists even,
You're kidding yourself if you think the world is a magical fluffy place. It's dangerous, it's cold, it's uncaring, and it's horrible. Like honestly, quite honestly, I've only heard this from people who are not using Twitter and stuff. The rest of the world is the majority of it is horrible. It's just absolutely horrible. Like people are wanting to get food. They're being oppressed by their governments, and here we are complaining over what pronouns we want to be used as. And
that's not to say that's wrong. Like that shouldn't be on the agenda.
It's just that you cannot tell someone who's starving and who is under a dictatorship that they should give 2 cents about.
Right.
I wanted to say the S word, but I don't know if we can. Is that fine?
No, I had to cut out.
Okay.
So.
Well.
I'm sure we can.
They don't care about what pronouns you use because they're dying, and that's much horrible. I'm sorry. It's just like it's stupid.
Rating it is tough because we only know the struggles in our life are different, and even our society here in America or in any place that isn't going through those other things. Our issues we have different ones, and that's not to say that they're bad.
It's all perception.
Civil rights is incredibly important. And it's not just about race anymore. I mean, it still is about race, and it'll be about gender as well. But there's only so much. Being upset about something is an internal feeling, and showing that you're upset about something is another one. Peaceful protest. But if we look at it, if we're not talking about politics and we talk about something like TED 2, like what if this person is just like, oh, this is just what's normal. This is what people find is funny. Because you look back and you're like, okay, the writers that made, those older movies that have these racist or sexist jokes, like, they're probably not going to change because they're probably dead now or they're old and they're not going to change. But there's a few that said, hey, I feel bad about some of the stuff they did later in life because they're like, yeah, it was a different time back then. And you see that all the time. And I'm not going to say with gender stuff, but you see that all the time. Like, back then, like, you can... Interviewing older actors and celebrities, you can tell that like some of them they did grow with the times.
Yeah,
and that's what you can hope for. And it's not to say that there's no input in there. It's just the reaction if someone went and told Seth MacFarlane like I hate you because of your trans stuff, like that's not going to make him want you to like him because
plus you have to admit, like, what else has him and his writers made fun of? Like, so wait, everything else that he did that was offensive to people with who are handicapped.
Oh yeah.
Like, I get every time there's a joke about Joe about his handicap in Family Guy, I get
it's not funny to me.
I hate it. Because it's just he used to be like such a cool character, and now he's just a joke, just like Meg. He's just like, I mean, it's funny if he's like, it's not funny because he's crippled, which is not the politically correct term, but it's just it's funny when someone's discluded, but not because of that. Like it's just I'm offended by that. But if I'm offended by that and trans stuff, like how many other jokes every couple seconds there's something new to be offended by, and someone's going to be offended. It's just like South Park.
And to be fair, I'd rather have a well-written show that's consistently funny and compared to one that is less offensive. Because at the same, like South Park's similar in a similar vein where it's like, okay, that joke, nope, it kind of offends me. Like, but I think being a little more level-headed is like, well, I can enjoy a show like that because it's like. I can pull out stuff that I do like, but I know that's tough for people. It's like I'll see something and I'm like, nope, you like recycling. I'm not watching your show. Like I'm obviously that's not true, but but I think that's where it comes from. And if you wanted Seth MacFarlane to change his ways, like, I mean, it's not going to go out and edit that stuff, but the end goal being that if you said, oh yeah, I didn't really like the trans jokes about that, like, it's tough though because you can say that, but like, are they really going to change it? And do they need to? Is another thing because
it's also like ratings and stuff matter too. Do you think you can turn on the air conditioner? It's getting a little warm in here. The just because I know it's not doing very well. Bordertown is that new show. Is
it still going?
I don't even know, but that's the great way to, if you don't like the humor, because it's really just all it is like race and politics and racism. Like that's. And it's sure, it's sending that up and lampooning it, but it gets really old. So no one's watching that show because it's not really funny anyways. So
no, I mean
it'll probably die. So that's the proper course of action. Don't watch Ted 2. Don't watch these things.
That's the thing is like if there's going to be an offensive show, like then just don't watch it because it's tough to say, well, they can't do that stuff. I'm like, well, we want people to be able to do that stuff, but we would hope that they would make something that's more sensitive, but at the same time, I don't want to live in a world where everything's censored. Right. But at the same time,
so once again, you have the two extremes and then everything in between. You can't.
Yeah.
Everything is just gray. Everything is gray. So.
But I think the difference is like I'm not going to go out and hate something. I just won't watch it.
Right.
And then I'm not going to tell my friends like don't watch that. Be like, watch that if you're a racist.
I think sometimes also like. With some shows, sometimes they, depending on the show or something that you enjoy, media or something, they have the characters or something making fun of something, and what it does is it reminds you of real life, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is how it is out there, and I guess that's like
there's if it's done tastefully, and I don't know if there's no.
I mean, it's kind of like if you want something to change, like I hope that. People like me are gonna stop being the butt of so many jokes, but it's the same with race, religion, and all that. Like, it's all connected, and we all get tired of the things that are making fun of us that don't have perspective. But it doesn't mean we can't laugh at them as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's been offended by something. I mean, it's just being a human. But hopefully that's not. How you are going to be as a person. Like that can't define you, is being offended by everything.
Right.
Because it's not a way to change the world, and to change the world is for you to go out and create something that doesn't offend people. And that's not but to be fair, I'm okay with humor that's going to offend people, because if I really like a show about atheists, you know what I mean? I thought there's a show out there like that, and it's just like people who have religion, they don't get it. It's so hilarious. I can't imagine me liking a show like that either. But the idea being that if I really like that, well, that show exists and there's an audience for it then.
Right.
But if there is no audience for it, then maybe it needs to change. But I don't know. It's tough because you start seeing generational gaps when you start getting older, and you're like, I see it now. There's no way. I'm like, yeah, of course people can be accepting to the world and grow with the world. But a lot of baby boomers and people older than that, not a lot of them are going to change their ways. Like, they're already set in way. They're on their. I wouldn't say on their way out, but like.
Well, hopefully our society it has gotten better. Like, just look at the new Star Wars. Like, okay, yeah, like look at that. There's no real love interest that we're aware of.
There's no character development.
It's just a bunch of
That's
it's
the
just
thing
a bunch of multicultural people and aliens, and that's cool. So, I mean, that's progressive, right?
There not being enough white people is not a flaw of the movie.
No.
Like, it could be all African Americans. I'd be completely happy. I wouldn't care. But that's only because I'm a white person living in California. We're a little more progressive here, and I feel like we have the ability to. We grew up. I don't know. I grew up appreciating that kind of stuff. I mean, we went to high school. White people were a kind of minority. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, we live near the border of Mexico, so like we're not really a minority down here, but I think we grew up with a very diverse crowd of people.
Yeah, a bigger palette of that. It's not just white people. And you go other places, and it is that way.
Well, I mean. This could be a whole nother thing, but yeah, I mean, there's just depending on where you live can be definitely influence the culture and stuff. We we kind of grew up in middle class suburbia, so like everyone doesn't matter what color you are. It really didn't then, but if you went to like maybe a poorer town or whatever, like, will be dramatically different, and the racial tension there would be palpable. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. We grew up in a very
I mean, if we were doing a little better than the people around us, that was just whatever, due to whatever jobs were there. But I mean, our best friend, they were Native American, and some others down the street.
So where's our trophy?
We're Mexican.
Just, like, where's the trophy for us? For us white people for having a Native American friend?
No, but I feel like I'm gonna for lack of a better term, blessed that we're able to grow up in a and that just instilled upon us.
Yes, we grew up in ignorance, which is a blessing, and also kind of has made us a little naive.
Because as we get older now, we have to say, oh, it is a problem in the rest of the world.
It is.
But I'm not going to say that we were. It's just as a kid, you don't. I'm not going to say kids don't see color, but you'll see color based on society and what people see. Like, it's not that I'll be honest here. We don't have a huge African American population, where we grew up in El Cajon, but at the same time, it wasn't like seeing a unicorn or something. Like, I imagine in other places. I mean,
we have unicorns here too. I mean, it's amazing when you actually see
one.
But
I guess the point I'm trying to say is that it's relative to what you grew up and knew, and to have a wider view of the world definitely takes some legwork. It's not just going to come to you. Like, and the internet is a great tool, but I feel like some people use the internet for the wrong ways. Like, it's great to see the diversity in the world. I mean, we also get to travel. We get to see, like, we go to a place and, like, oh, there's a lot of this race here. There's a lot and we're not blind to it. Everyone knows that, oh, there's a lot of white people in this town and they all have accents. The UK. I'm just kidding. That's not But no, I was talking about like Texas or something, but not really, because all the people from Seattle moved to Texas, so in San Francisco. So that's where Texas is now, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really political, but as an ignorant person, growing up, like, that's. I feel like people kind of have to do the legwork to kind of experience other
things outside your norm, and if you keep yourself in a bubble, which people do, it's not a terrible thing, but I mean, the world is quite diverse, and the things that are going on inside your brain aren't necessarily what's going on in someone else's brain. And a lot of it's culture, a lot of it's how you're brought up with, a lot of it's genetics. You can't be friends with everyone. You can't perceive the world for how it truly is. Even us talking right now, we only have such a big slice of it. Even if you're really well traveled, I guess there's going to be your experience is going to be so much different than ours.
But I'm pretty sure bullying celebrities on the internet is definitely not the way to go about making a change in the world.
Yeah, I just don't.
Because it's just a weird. What's the end goal there?
What it is I'm right, you're wrong. Everyone feels indignant. Everyone.
Yeah.
I have no indignation about it. Like, I mean, it sucks, but when I mess up, I don't mind apologizing. It's just that even in my apologies or anything where I said, I probably shouldn't have said that, it's not going to be enough for
No,
everyone.
no.
It's going to
'Cause
be
they-
like,
what they want is.
and then what are they going to do?
This is the
is there
idea.
is there like a compendium of okay, here's where Bunny said something
Yeah.
mean or something or bad, and here's a link to the apology. That doesn't exist.
No,
like
I know.
you're not going to see my apology. You're not going to see.
But I think it's I think the way that a person would want it to go is, I'm just imagining, is like, oh, I'm so sorry, I really screwed up, and if only you could take me back, fandom, and I could be in your graces again. And then they would, and then that person who's really been hounding you would be like, well, maybe just this once. Like that's the only way that they would be happy.
That's what they want. That's what they want. And it's stupid. It's stupid.
Like,
it's
well,
like
we are better than you, and you're just scum of the earth. But I guess we'll allow you creating more art for us. Like I feel like that's the middle ground for them, which is like, it's never gonna happen that way. Like,
I don't know.
but to be fair, like we've only dealt with it a little bit, but I just see it. I see it all the time online now with other.
It's hard to say like
creators.
It's hard to even apologize for some stuff because unless you say something that everyone's like, well, that was bad. Like I think everything that we've had a run in with like upsetting people has been very, what's the word? It's gray. It's like, well, maybe some people are gonna be offended, maybe not. It just depends on your audience. Like if you took some of the stuff we said that people did throw get into a tizzy over, you put it into a different audience, it would be nothing.
Sure, yeah.
But with us, it's like a lot of young people on the internet, more sensitive.
So yeah, anorexia. I wouldn't say it's a joke. It's like because
it was. I was lampooning it, but no matter
but
how many
making-
times
yeah,
I've apologized
yeah.
or anything, Tumblr will not take me back. They've made their decision that I'm to be
well,
outcast.
I mean, to be fair,
to the land of Twitter.
if it's not one thing, it's another. You know,
It's exactly.
There's people who hate Sam Luke for nothing because he's never posted. He posted on the internet once, and the one time he posted, it's the only thing they could pick from.
Right.
And it was literally him defending you with the same exact thing.
Was it?
Yeah, he was making fun of them.
Oh yeah, he was like saying he was saying like find something better to be offended by or something. I don't know.
Then that's his claim to fame. And or if not, like I know we talked about this in past podcasts with Chelsea. It was like they're like the only thing that they have on her is like, well, she hangs out with the Bennett, so there must be something there. There must be something terrible with her. And like, you know, for a person who's never had to deal with that for the last 10 years or so is like that's like hurtful for them because they're like, what did I do? All I did was join a band.
It should be noted that these days, well, maybe I shouldn't say it, but it's not us that handles most of Tumblr and stuff.
Yeah.
We do post on our other things, and you know, sometimes we'll see the comments. I usually go to my mentions or notifications and just every once in a while look at the comments and maybe respond to a couple, but I don't go through and like see what the fans are talking about anymore because
No,
it was a horrible idea.
I don't follow tags. It was fine in the beginning because it was like
because
it was cool to like find stuff and like, oh, this is great fan art. But now we have to put someone in between us because for one thing, there's way too much and we could make a living just replying to people. But
also because it hurts our feelings when someone says something really mean.
That and also even if you feel like you can take it, try it for a few years and then you're like. That it just feels you start getting numb to it.
The smartest people
just
never get
numb
involved.
Yeah.
We were not those smart people. That's our biggest thing is that we just kept coming back for more. And it's all it is I think that the legacy of the Bennetts and Steam Powered Giraffe is that boy those two really just kept giving it to themselves and it was kind of painful to watch.
Is that what Tumblr thinks? Is that because I don't?
No, I would say that's just what anyone that with a brain on their shoulders would think is that boy they really tried to stick in there and like. Try to win this fight that they're never going to win.
Well, wait. I think,
and that's stupid.
I think the majority of the audience of Steam Powered Giraffe is not even in that world. They like the act.
I'm just saying
no one knows. The only people on
I'm just saying in like our gossip
Tumblr and stuff.
In our gossip,
okay.
like what have we done wrong? Is like we tried to win Tumblr.
Most people don't know that stuff.
No,
like,
yeah, sure.
That's only a very small people on Tumblr that were into that. Most people literally just digest the music and the act.
Well,
and they don't care about us personally.
For us, Tumblr was, it was kind of the first. It's where we took off, like on the internet. I mean, you could say YouTube and all this, but Tumblr was very integral.
Yeah, they posted YouTube links to all the like people would just have cell phone videos, and that's kind of where it started because we were there every day for two months.
So you know, it has sucked to kind of get away from Tumblr and stuff, but also liberating. It's not to say that all the other social social platforms can have similar issues.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, Twitter, Instagram, there's all.
It can happen to anyone.
It's the same people.
Yeah,
it's just,
we've just been fortunate so far. But I can see if we were keeping up the same fervid attention to like responding to fans and stuff like we did on Tumblr, on any of these other social platforms, we'd wind up in something similar.
Well, I think a key thing for us is that we've pulled back, and the content that we give is different because before it was very attentive, and unfortunately that makes people. Unfortunately, the people who have started any hate blogs got a lot of attention from us.
They got a lot of attention, and they get greedy. I would imagine. Like,
well, I don't want to speak on their behalf, obviously, because we're never going to hear from them ever, and I don't want to. But the idea being that it's a byproduct of being too
intimate with your fan base,
too intimate, and responsive and stuff. Like how it is now, it's like it's a second thought. Where before it was like the forefront of like.
Right.
And it didn't make us any more money, and it didn't make us more connected with fans. All it did was it made us.
It enabled people that didn't need to be enabled, and like that's unfortunate on our behalf because we can't see who these people are. But if you met them in person, they're probably not people that you'd want put in that situation where they're having a one-on-one talk with this band that they are obsessed with.
Sure, yeah.
It's just not healthy for them. It's not healthy for us. And that's where our biggest shortcomings are, is we did not interact with our fans in a proper way. It's not to say that we were super mean and stuff, but if you're interacting with your fans in the amount of the amount that we were, you're gonna you're gonna offend someone.
I mean, here's the thing with that is we treated it like these were going to be friends or something. Not that we ever wanted to be friends, but then when they figure out that you're not gonna be the friend, and then we're like, oh no, I'm just being friendly. Like I'm talking. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that story. Like most of these people thought that we were their friends, or I don't want to say like it's a misstep. Like, oh yeah, we were trying to be friends with too many people. Like you go in knowing like, oh yeah, of course we've
you just want to be hospitable, and if someone messages you, you respond to it. But now it turns into, if you dedicate all that time to it, it's like there's no payoff. It's just the audience only wants more, and so the best thing we can do to that is to funnel it into the art and stuff. Like, if we can post Instagrams and fun jokes, and stuff.
It's pulling back from that personal, like individual people, where it used to be, where it was like I got to respond to everyone. I gotta make sure everyone feels special, that kind of thing on Tumblr, and turning it into here's content for everyone, and we're still interacting the same amount. It's just. I don't want to say it's less personal. It's because obviously we answer questions and stuff.
It's whatever works for us. Like somehow Doug Jones responds to a lot of that, but I know he can't respond to everyone. He sends at least one message out probably to an individual if he can. Like it's not always, I'm sure.
But we're also we do have the people who are vying for our time are not everyone, because the sales that we see with and the views and stuff, they're not everyone that's responding to us. The people that are responding to us and vying for our time every single day. That's a very small group of people.
Right.
It's big for us because we're individual people ourselves, and even 10 people vying for your time every day is a lot of people, let alone a few hundred or something. But the majority of people go about their days, and they'll catch up with us in a month or so. Like
sure.
And that's not to say that's bad. Like I look at like video game forums and I'm like following all the time. Like what's new today? What's new this week? But there's a lot more people who aren't that kind of fan. I think that's reserved for people who are really into something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's once again, it's the hard. It's the two majors. The fans that are very into it and they put themselves at the forefront of it, and they're always vying for the band's attention. And then there's the ones that you don't even know exists except as a number on sale or something.
I mean, I'm usually that fan I'm that fan for other products because I every once in a while I'll post something on Reddit, but
we have very dedicated fans who kind of fall in the middle, where they go to every one of our shows that they can possibly make, buy all our merchandise, but they're kind of strangers to us,
and we've never really met them.
Or we see them around, but we're like, hey, how's it going?
And then there's people that we know way too well.
There's fortunately for us, there's a lot of fans that we know that are actually pretty cool, and we get to see them at shows, and
we don't fear for our life.
And we look forward to seeing them and their new cosplays or whatever they're working on, and that's because not everyone is a it's awful. but yeah, there is that. There's people that are way too passionate, like, and it's not about what we do and that we shouldn't owe them that amount of attention. Like, no one should be that obsessed with anything to the point where it's detrimental to their well-being.
I mean, because we can make everyone feel welcome at our shows and stuff, but it's tough to say because I don't want any fans to ever change. Like, we're not talking about you, because I know that's what everyone's thinking. Like, but no, it's that over the 10 years we've seen like one or two people, like a very handful of people, that it's like, this is not healthy for them. Like, you can see.
I think with everything that we've been talking about this, if you're out there and you're worried if it's you, you'll probably know if it's not you. Like, because this is a very small amount of people that have given us trouble.
And the only reason to bring it up is that, you know, it's another aspect of people that we see that over the years of the 10 years of doing this, that it's like I only see them hurting themselves.
Right.
With either they're going to be disappointed that we're not going to be their friends.
Well, you know, it's funny because this also goes into what we were talking about earlier, just friendships in the private life. It's almost like that, a little bit.
Sure.
It's that it's one person giving all this energy, all this stuff, and they're only going to get hurt because we cannot respond with the same amount of energy to them.
And in a band, logistically, we cannot. And, you know, there's people that, you know, if they put you in a position where you have no choice but to give them time. I've seen that before. It's like it's even more awkward because it's like it's like now because you're not going to get they're not going to get what they want. And then what they want is, you know, maybe an hour or two to talk, just shoot the poop with you,
I guess. I mean, I've met some cool stuff.
And
in the UK, I had like almost like a full like 10 hours to just hang out with fans.
Yeah,
that was actually really cool. I don't know. It's just maybe it was the layout of where we were, but it just wasn't encumbering.
But I think the most
I had
thing
some
is
nice
that
conversations and tea.
I mean, we've gotten to the point several times over the Steam Powered Giraffe where we wanted to be friendly and give everyone their time, and then it turns into an hour show and 4 hours of trying to get through fans, and then
it gets to the point where you can't do it anymore, and you're just like, I'm out of socializing juice. I can't keep this up.
And then you get you know, reviews posthumously about like how terrible you were, and like well, on hour 4 when we had to spend another 10 minutes talking about, and it's because we're only people, and we can deal with I don't know, about 800 people before we are pretty much. I think that's the most we've ever done it. I would say maybe the zoo. I don't know.
You just can't win. I mean, the zoo was a special kind of madness because there was return people every day that would go, that literally saw us for the full 74 days, and you couldn't imagine. You can't get away from the people, despite it doesn't matter how friendly they are and stuff. It's that you have to see them every single day for 74 days straight. Every single.
And that's not terrible. I mean, they're supporting the zoo and stuff, and I guess, but
yeah, but it's like. You can't get away from, and they're coming up to you and wanting pictures every night and autographs, and like, where are you keeping all these signatures? Like, like you must have you have 74 items that we've signed for. It's you know, like.
Well, I mean, for that, I mean, and
it sounds cute. Like, oh, if it was like one spunky little kid who had nothing to do with his entire summer, I'd understand. But it's not. It's not that. It's much worse.
It's people our age or older, and I mean, but you don't. I like seeing people. If I see people there's people that were there, people from Sweden who came and literally like maybe like twice each month, and they flew. I don't know. They just had enough money to fly from Sweden, and like that's excessive, but you know, that's 4 times. It's not 78 times.
Well, you know. I think, but also the thing is, we're never going to change this.
No.
I mean, people are people, and we will be if we encounter someone like this again. But when we will, it's just you just deal with it. But it comes with the job.
I don't want anyone to take away us talking about this thinking that we hate stuff like this. It's just we have to comment on it because
the people that will take away that we hate our fans will be the same people writing hate blogs about us. So it's not. I think most people understand that.
No, I mean they'll cut me explaining it out, but
they'll audio clip your voice saying, I'm David Michael Bennett, and I hate our fans.
I mean, that's probably what. I mean, maybe they've done that. I have no idea, but
they'll take that clip that I just did and they'll cut out. It'll just be, I hate our fans.
But yeah, it's a unique perspective from us that it's like.
Well, this is what we deal with, and you know, like
it's not much work on us. We we're there for you guys.
I think it's
we just don't want someone to be obsessive to the point where they're going to hurt themselves. And
Sure.
and that sounds weird. Like what? What are they going to fall off a bridge? Like, but that's not what it's about. It's the like mentally, it's emotionally. Like
there's a story about Weird Al who was being followed around like an amusement park by a dad who kept saying like you got to make my kids famous, and he just like those are the kind of experiences which are hilarious to talk about, but just quite sad and unnerving. Like
how did that end?
you can actually look it up on YouTube. He does like a whole. It was like a podcast that he did, and someone even animated it.
Oh,
So you should look it up. It's pretty interesting.
you can't just give me the general gist.
How did it end?
I think everyone's now. Now if you're gonna say it on a podcast,
He
everyone's
just
gonna
kept giving the same answer until he finally was able to lose the guy. And
What was the answer? What do you say to someone like
you
that?
say, "Sorry, what can I do?" I mean, if do they have any talents? You can email me here, I guess. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was
The guy wasn't taking
saying.
no for an answer. He's like, "No, they can't do anything, but you can make them famous, right?" I
Yeah.
ran into you. I mean, it's got to be a sign. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
I'm
that's
just saying it like that kind of behavior is.
Well,
is-
that's the unnerving stuff.
yeah,
that we
like
see.
like
it's not.
That's
it's
what
not,
we're complaining about.
It's
That's-
not because people love us. That's not the
No,
reason.
I mean I
Too
don't.
much.
I don't. I mean, if anything, we like a little attention because it is validating, right? Attention
Right,
is a little
yeah.
validating.
But I think hearing that from us, like I can only imagine people are saying, "Wow, they really don't like their fans."
It's like, wow, they're complaining
But,
about their
that's
business where all these people love them and
Yeah,
stuff.
well, I think it's just because it's the way we're talking about it is so casual, and you're not in on the conversation with us the same way that we are.
Anyways,
So that's why it's hard to bring you in, but that's why I'm trying to add more to it because I feel like we're comfortable talking about it because obviously we love our fans and all that, but when you hear things like we worry for some of them, like then you like because the way we're describing them is more like, oh, they just really love you, and like, well, no.
no, there's the ones that
There's thousands of people who
there's
love us too much,
There's
but
a bunch of charming people I've met that might be awkward or like be a little too over ambitious or excited, but though
that's
that's
cool.
that's
fine.
charming. That's great.
Yeah,
It's
we're,
like
we're
whatever.
there to make your those people's experience great.
And
too.
honestly, we just don't think too much about it. We're there to do a job, and we're just there to sign autographs and say thank you for you buying our albums or supporting us, and that's kind of what we're there for. We're there to do a job, not to be your friends. So I don't know. I mean, that's what you paid to come to a convention so you could meet us.
I don't see too many artists talking like that to their fans, but I feel like we need to.
I feel I kind of do too. We've gotten not to be. I don't know. Like, it's hard because I feel like I especially on this podcast. I mean, I don't know if I don't think Tumblr listens to it, but I always feel like I'm talking to Tumblr, and I'm like, I don't want to have to.
No. I mean,
saran wrap and make sure it's nice and safe.
It's tough.
Safe
It's tough.
to handle. It's like. Because at any moment I'm going to say something that's offensive or something. It's like,
But
your passions for a band, and stuff. That's great and all.
Well, hopefully,
we've had artists, we've had conventions who hate our fans because some of them are way too. What's the word? Eager.
Yeah, excited to eager.
And it's the one or two that make it a problem. And
yeah, everyone else is fine. Everyone
we've gotten not asked back to a convention because of the people we brought in. They didn't care about the numbers. They just didn't like the. And I don't know if it's just with any person but yeah, I mean,
that's not to say that any of our fans are bad. It's just I think the point is the intent is of what we're talking about is important, not the way we talk about it.
Well,
Because
it's hard not to feel like we're talking down to young people, but because our band is so focused on kids, we worry about the kids. We worry about these kids that are pouring all their savings or energy into just one thing. And obsessions are okay here and there, but
I mean, yeah, I was fans of stuff. I'm still fans of stuff, but now I do have it. People,
right. It's okay to be excited
yeah.
and stuff, but sometimes it's kind of like cool off a little bit. Like, we can't just keep saying like, yeah, keep coming to each one of our shows and write songs about us every time you come to our shows and perform them for us in front of all our fans, and let's make you the center of attention. Like, when you get individuals like that over and over again and they keep doing it, you kind of worry about their health.
I mean, it comes with a fandom. I mean, but I think the difference, I guess, with us is not people don't talk about it. And if they do,
well, I guess you're not supposed to talk about it. You're just supposed to be grateful and shut your yap, which we are.
It's not about being ungrateful. It's about
being a human and knowing what you humanly can take.
Yeah.
And I can't take people going above and beyond and being horrible. Like it gets old. It gets old fast that you have to deal with it. Like,
well, I mean, I don't think anyone.
It would be in any other situation outside of us being in a band. Like if you saw this behavior with anyone, you'd have the same things to feel about them. Yeah. And that's all it is. I don't care if they like our band or anything because you know what? Like there's 3+ members in the band. There's no telling that they even like me in the band. So why should I care? Why should I accept their doting and strange obsessiveness?
Oh, you're talking about, you're saying that a fan, you lost me on the, you're saying that a fan would, their perspective changed and I got lost.
No, I'm just saying like if one of these obsessed fans like there's no saying that they're there for me. I've never had someone who said, "You are my favorite, Bunny. You are the reason I am here," and then go and do something crazy. I've always had, I love the band, and then do something crazy. So I'm just saying, like, you know what? Like, if I'm not kind to them, it's probably okay. I'm not their favorite member, anyways. The way I talk.
I mean, yeah, it's tough to. It's I keep feeling like it's too tough for anyone to digest what we're talking about. That's how because no one's going to understand it, and that's my point of view. And
but it's also like weird that when we were starting this out and stuff, like there wasn't really no one talking about this stuff either. Like it would have been great. Even now, I always want to know how other people are dealing with this, but we're in such a niche, I guess.
I mean, you don't want to. If you look up the horror stories, they're as bad from like making the experience worse for everyone else in the line, or as worse as someone dying. Like so, and you probably know what storm I'm talking about, but like it's just. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary because it's a new world.
I would just say, like, we're only human. Like, I know we've talked about some sensitive subjects, and obviously we don't want our fans thinking that we're ungrateful. I mean, hopefully everything that we've done shows that, but at the same time, there has to be a line where we draw where it's like, yes, we're grateful, and look at all the stuff we've created for you and all the time that we spend on you, but we're still people. And anyone who can't understand that, I really don't care if they're a fan of our bands.
But once again,
they're not worth doting over and trying to keep just because they got offended by something we said today, which is.
But once again, most people are. Most people understand. Like they don't give a crap about what you ate for breakfast or whatever. Like some. Do.
Some people, Instagram loves knowing what
Sure, yeah. I mean, whatever. It's fun. It's like, oh, that's what they're eating. I ate that today, too. I get that. But the small minority of people who, I guess, make it a problem, and not just for us, because, sure, we can talk about being a person and how, this is kind of tough to deal with. But also because it's probably not good for them and not healthy. And that's kind of, I think, the thing to take away from it is, like, we know it's not healthy for us a little bit, but it's also not healthy for someone to be doing that stuff because there's no end game for them where they finally are happy with life. Like they're gonna not be a fan eventually, and then they're gonna move on and say, oh well, it was pretty stupid to get upset that I couldn't be friends with the band. I mean that's I think everything
it's like in moderation, and that seems to be like an overarching theme is
everything in moderation.
Please take from this podcast moderation, I guess, if you're looking to take a theme. Moderation is just good all around, whether it be in your personal life or in your business or whatever.
There's also something to be said about young people will be young people, and in 10 years we see the loop of people. We see the same, like, can this group of people still a group of fans be so similar to this other one that about 5 years ago?
Also,
because it's people are people, and we're going to see the same thing for till our dying days.
It's also fair to note that when we started this out, we were in our 20s. Now we're going into our 30s. We're going to connect less and less with 12 to 14-year-olds, and it just keeps. We're going to be more alienating to our younger fans just from an age perspective. I mean, we try to be nice and everything, but there's only so much we can do before
eventually
we can't relate.
Then it's going to be like, oh, did you try the new Snapchat puppy filter? Like, No, give a crap about friggin' I don't like dogs.
Is that what all the kids are doing these days?
I just feel like everyone on Facebook has that puppy filter.
Honestly, on dating sites and stuff, if I see that puppy filter, I'm just like, okay, swipe left or whatever is the one to not.
Like, oh, isn't it adorable? Like, but maybe in a but for one thing, if you want it, maybe in an ironic way. But if you wanted to be ironic, you'd pick the stupidest one.
But you know what? Everyone's being ironic now, so it's pointless.
So not being ironic is actually more attractive. Just dating tips in case you want to date anyone.
I don't know. I think like
don't have a dog. Don't use the puppy.
You listen. You talk or listen to Dan Harmon's podcast, the creator of Community.
I'm not
Rick and
only
Morty.
the owner. I'm a member. No, wait. I subscribe to it. I pay them $5 a month to keep doing it.
It seems like he's pretty like blunt.
Oh, he's
Like,
he's
he's-
blunt to the point where he has drama in his fandom too.
I admire him for his because I've started delving into Community and his blogs and stuff or whatever. Not as much as you have, but what I see is like man, I wish I could have that freedom, but I just don't want to the repercussions of what he says. Like everything he says seems like makes sense, you know. Like
well, he's a writer, so our act is actually us. His act. He doesn't have an act. He's a writer. You know what I mean? Like
right.
So the podcast is just him talking. Our act is us also talk. You know what I mean? Like we're not writers. We don't have that second thing. He does all this extra stuff because it's like it's cathartic.
Sure.
And also because it has a fandom.
Well, he just has like a great perspective, and
yeah.
I don't know.
No, I listen to it it wasn't on this Sunday, but it's gonna be on next Sunday.
I mean, anything that it's just weird that everything we talk about here, we feel like, oh, let's be a little hesitant on this.
But it's because we're afraid from our
past experiences. Yeah, and it's like,
and I hate to see it, but I say it, but like when I see a person they're gonna take it the wrong way, like I feel like I have a stereotypical image of a Tumblr user in my head, and that's a terrible thing. Because,
I think hopefully
because the worst thing is we've seen thousands of people, and I don't want to say, and this is not because everyone's a unique snowflake, but for some reason I know what a terrible Tumblr user looks like, and I've never seen them in real life. You know what I mean? It's like the brain is weird when you kind of have to go through things like that.
It's unfortunate
You're
that we're there, and I guess that's something that we're gonna have to work on in the podcast. We've had a couple episodes where we've been a little hesitant to delve into stuff, where we kind of start withdrawing our thoughts a little bit, or what's the word? Sugarcoating things at the end. It's not a very attractive thing for a podcast to kind of stumble on your words and stuff, but it comes from being young and stupid on the internet and trying to nurture our fan base, and I don't know, it just was a hard experience. So like opening up and feeling like you're gonna get crucified for anything that comes out of your mouth, it's hard because obviously we don't want to.
It's less like what we're talking about definitely should be said, but it's that I worry about it being misinterpreted. That's my only thing.
Yeah, and I guess that's fair because everything can be misinterpreted.
And because that's
why we try to stay away from politics and religion. Hopefully, we're speaking in such vagueness. I mean, we have our opinions that we can't change.
Well, because every once in a while you get a comment that's like, you started talking about this, and I just couldn't listen to the podcast anymore. And I've seen that before, and I'm like, but we literally talked about that for 5 minutes. Sorry, I burped.
Yes.
And if you just listened, we weren't going to talk about it anymore. And we even said, like, I don't think we should be talking about this. Because if you want to hear our opinions on stuff, and that's going to turn you off from the podcast, I guess that's just what it is.
I guess the thing is, you just got to do it without fear of alienating. I don't really like talking about politics or religion or any of these sensitive subjects, except I think today was more of a just kind of like a life lessons, which everyone can apply. You can apply everything that we've talked about to yourself. The whole talking about the band is where it just kind of falls apart. It's like, well, you know what? We were just talking about all these things in our personal lives. Does that make it any less valid because we can apply it to our job? Why does it have to be a charade?
Because we have fans.
You guys should be aware that we have fans that are crazy.
Yeah,
I can't. People are crazy. There's crazy people out there.
And that's not to say that people who have, once again, see here I'm like backpedaling to kind of like trying to.
I'm just saying, like,
kind of.
I'm not saying like some people that because you use the adjective crazy, like, oh, mental disorders, you should be sensitive about.
Yeah, there's words you can't use anymore apparently, but no, the
honestly,
idea being
just
people have mental problems, and that's not a bad thing.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just saying like people have mental problems. Like that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that people have mental problems and they're fans, and those are the terrible people.
We're terrible. We're just awful. Like we're so concerned. We're so concerned with what
misinterpret.
Well, yeah, but right, it's a horrible way to live. It's like, but that's what the internet's turned into. It's like You know what? I probably have. I'm not. And I have to preface this because it's the internet. I am not undiagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have anxiety and depression. I have mental issues that I have to deal with.
But we see fans.
It's not a bad. It's not a bad thing. Here we go. Prefacing it and and buttering it up so it's digestible. It's like, yes, but some people. I don't care. I only have a snapshot. If they're doing something crazy and that's what I'm going to remember them for, then that's their fault.
Yes, that's what we mean about crazy.
So when I say they're crazy, they were crazy to me. That's if they're having crazy behavior or they turned crazy or did something that was just.
But you're not crazy just because you have a mental disorder. That's the thing. That's what I want to preface.
Oh my gosh! Like, right? There's only languages. So when I say like I used to be friends with this person, but then they just went batshit crazy. I can't say that word.
Shit? No, I think shit's okay.
Well, let's just say shit a few more times. When you say that, it's like, okay, do I have to preface everything with like, well, they're probably just going through some hard times, and they're not always like that. But come on, everyone works in absolutes to some extent. So
it's true.
It should just be like taking that. There's only so much we can get across in a word or a sentence. So when we say my friend, I used to be friends with them, and then they went batshit crazy. I learned their true character. It's like that's just not true. Like. It's just you can say that kind of stuff about your past friends that they just weren't good for you.
Sure. Well, I mean,
if they're crazy, if they like cut off your toes or like threaten to kill you, I guess that's pretty crazy, and you can't really come back from that.
Sure.
But once again, we're just buttering up everything to try to make sure that we're covering all bases and not being misunderstood.
I mean, yes, it makes sense with the podcast because I'm keeping our fans in mind. And I'm like, well, I've seen enough people who reply and like they didn't get it, and I'm like. Well, next time I'll be a little more clear, and that's why I do it.
I guess. I think the one I remember.
Unfortunately, we can't be clear for everyone. Unfortunately, because although we're aware of our audience, like it's too much to take into account. Like, because basically you have to explain it. Like, you have to preface everything with that this person has never existed in life before and doesn't know what the concepts of a lot of concepts are. That's how I'm thinking about it because it's like, well, they've never seen our band maybe before, and they also have never listened to the podcast before, and they also don't know, you know what I mean? Like, there's too much to take into account. You just kind of have to assume.
I haven't really read any of the comments, but I do remember. I think I caught on our zoo episode we were defending zoos, and that was not good with someone, and it's just kind of a thing that Can you explain all the complicated position of that kind of stuff? Like, because we were even putting our foot in our mouths on the podcast. We were like, oh my gosh, like this is going to bring up so many. And people only heard that. They didn't hear. They heard Blackfish. They heard zoos are bad or monkey got shot. It's like, oh my god, they already have their opinions worked out. But I still like zoos. I don't care. Like the zoos I go to are great. So that's what I feel. I still feel like. But I mean, that's why I'm joking about the recycling thing because it's like I know some people out there are going to be like, David hates the environment. But it's the idea that I'm not going to spend an entire episode telling you why. We can choose to just say F it all and just offend people. Yeah, but I think we could do that and just be like, nope. You know what? Sorry we offended you, but that wasn't our intent. But it starts getting tiring. Like and then we have a half an hour extra of the podcast where it's us just trying to explain everything we already talked about. I think it just to an extent we're gonna have to let it go and just let people be mad. Yeah. Let them be mad because. We can't explain to them how people are diverse and they have a bunch of thoughts that might not seem to all correlate, but people are wonderfully imperfect things. So like when we say something, we may put our foot into our mouth. We may not be able to express all our opinions on the podcast, or we might not choose our words correctly. No, I mean let's just go without saying. Because the thing with listening to something like this is you don't get to go and say, what do you mean by that? And should we and maybe some people have a better talent for it. Maybe I think this podcast we're kind of just raw with it. Like no, we didn't know what we were talking about when we started. We just went on a subject. So I'm not going to say we're. I hope we feel a little more comfortable not being. I would love to get away from that mindset of if we say. That everything we say we have to look through with a fine-tooth comb, otherwise Tumblr is going to be upset. Because that's how I've been living my life for like since the zoo, which back in 2011 for a good 3 or 4 years there. Well, it's tough because it's like when I hear the stuff, I'm like, well, I know someone was offended, and then it's like, well, do we say something just so that person can feel it's still included? Like I don't know if that even helps. Chime in with your thoughts on the Engineer-eteers website or the Twitter. I mean, I would think like it's just. Like any life lesson, you can't please everyone. I think that's also a big thing. That's also another theme in this episode is like, it's a reoccurring theme in what we do is that you can't please everyone, and we are just people, and we're not perfect people, and it doesn't matter because
because no one's perfect, not because we're not perfect people. That's a good distinction.
I think people think that there's pretentiousness because we're behind a microphone right now. It's like, well, it's our podcast. We can't.
You're right.
We can talk about whatever we want. You chose to come into the room with us. It would be the same if you chose two other individuals to hang out with and they started spouting whatever they wanted to.
I mean, it's once again, it's a one-sided relationship.
Right. So
a podcast. I mean, we didn't actually take questions this time, but that's because.
Well, sometimes it's nice to have a guest who has like varying opinions and stuff, but we don't get too much of that because Chelsea is so alike in our thoughts and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, once again, echo chamber is never a good thing, but at the same time, I guess we're never really debating things on the podcast. It's mostly just like
I don't want it to be a debate podcast, but we're just kind of trying to express our life lessons that we've learned and perspectives, but
this shouldn't be your only source of what's out in the world. I know that that's not anyone's, but it's a good thing to keep in mind that this is just one aspect of life from our points of view, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of other people out there. I mean, I wish I was more. I feel pretty introspective in my life and know myself and stuff a lot better than other people. But even then, there's some people who can look at society and they have way better ideas than I could ever muster in my own head. When I listen to podcasts, I'm like, I get the concepts, but like my brain goes in a different direction than theirs.
I've heard podcasts where like I'm just jealous of how well people can find their words and just have like because I'm trying to find my words now and I can't do it. I'm just like where they can just instantly go on a tangent about with all these beautiful, colorful words and express themselves so well. This is not something I can do very well.
No, I'm similar in that.
So every once in a while we get lucky and we go on a tangent that's like, oh, that was actually like pretty great, but I think, but you know what? Like when the first episode of the podcast, we said, you know, hey, this feels very therapeutic. You know, even after kind of getting into that dangerous territory of, what's the word for making Tumblr angry? I was gonna use the P word, but I don't know if it was
pissing off people.
Yeah. We were, you know, like even though we go to that area of like, oh gosh, are we gonna piss off Tumblr? It's therapeutic to just get it off our chest because we worry about it so much because of the horrible things that
be fair,
have
like,
happened.
If you are a Tumblr person who hates us and are listening to the podcast to get dirt on us to bring back to
they're not going
blog,
to. I don't know why they don't take the effort to actually find the things that we actually do wrong. They just make stuff up.
Which is weird, right? Like,
yeah, I could tell you right now things that you know, there's things that I do that are much worse than the things that you think I do, and I just talk about them openly anyways. So, like, why not just use those?
Yeah, it's just because the agendas, I suppose. At any rate, we don't need to focus on all that stuff. Obviously, we don't want to alienate people who are like, why are you talking about the haters? Let's talk about the lovers.
Well, this episode had a very positive beginning, didn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of. We were talking about clingy people, I guess.
Positive.
The positive is that you don't need them.
You want to do the melody again?
Sure.
Let's see. Wait, what's the... 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's podcast from Steam, powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. I tried. I'm just keep going. We talked about a lot of super serious stuff here on the Bennettarium. Oh boy, it's the Bennettarium.
Sorry, I've done it so much.
I'm also like I'm starting to revert back to my harmonies.
Okay, so I thought it would be cool to have you do the melody. But
well,
I think we did it. This is our 20th episode, and now
I think I should be able to sing a melody every once in a while.
It would be
Maybe
nice.
we come up with a different song for when I sing it, so it's like we never have to worry.
Well, I've never done the harmonies before, so
we'll work on it. This is only episode 20, so.
And all it would have taken was a little bit of practice before the episode, but we don't plan. This is supposed to be fun, and practicing's not.
Did
fun.
you guys have fun?
No.
Did you guys have fun listening to us complain about people?
Well, if anyone wanted to know what Just a Bennett podcast sounds like,
it's
well, there it is.
You know, you need someone else in the mix, I think. Otherwise, we just kind of feed into each other's tangents, right?
Yeah, Chelsea's pretty good at.
You need someone to talk about milk tea.
But we'll get some other people on. I guess I have to get up and go turn off. The
I
podcast now.
mean, I liked our podcast. I thought we talked about some very interesting topics, and yes, it was therapeutic, and I have no idea what the title's gonna be.
Real talk.
Real talk?
I don't know.
It could be that, or moderation.
I don't know.
It's not a funny one. No one said anything funny.
No.
Wait, there was something funny. There was like a joke. Oh, David burped. That was funny, kinda.
They'll be disappointed when there's not many burps in there.
Well, we tried, guys.
Well, so long.